Hey, hello everyone. Nate and I are live. No music tonight, no fancy nothing. Let's just get right into it. I figured the draft has happened. Many news item has happened. Nate wants to talk about a certain draft pick that happened in Atlanta, so we're definitely going to cover that. And yeah, I just figured we got NHL playoffs, we got NBA playoffs, we got Caitlin Clark in the WNBA now, so we got a lot of
Killing,
stuff to talk about, Nate.
bro. She is all those women and former WNBA players and talk about she can't do that shit. Shit. She showed y'all asses, didn't she?
But do you think she? I mean, what about the push-off stuff? I mean, that's gonna.
Huh?
What about the push-off stuff?
Yeah, no push off. Like get your weight up, and that won't happen to you. That's no push off. You get your weight up, and that shit won't happen to you. The shit, dude. I'm telling you, dude. That chick. The thing for me is like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, like they brought eyes to the basketball world. Caitlin Clark more than anybody, but the WNBA has to capitalize on these women. The ones who just can't, you got to capitalize on your rookies, man. Like you have to, you got to put them in a spotlight. Their games have to be on TV. It is a
Well,
must.
the thing is too, it's like I mean, you see how much Ice Cube offered to get Caitlin Clark into the
Yeah,
Big
like
Three. He
I'm
clearly recognizes the market.
and that's the funny thing. So Nike offered Caitlin Clark her signature shoe, and there's a lot of people like, well, why is she? Yeah, obviously, they were like, well, she only got it because she's white. Listen, how many white people do you know have their own Nike their signature shoe? Derek Jeter, he has a
See
Jordan
why?
brand, but he has Jordan. He was Jordan brand. I think he was with Jordan for a bit. But how many? Think about it. How many white athletes do you know have Nike shoe brand? None. It's not a
Not,
lot. If
not
there
even.
if there are some if there are some you can't name them. So it has nothing to do with her skin. It's the fact that she's marketable. You can market Caitlin Clark. She look what she's done. Nobody was paying attention to women's college basketball and before she got hot. Get the fuck out of here. Of course we're gonna market her. Yeah, we want her to come here. Come sell a shoe for us. Come bring in some money for us. Like
Oh,
that's stupid.
absolutely.
Like it just kind of there's a lot of hating going on. I'm gonna put you like this. The best way I describe it is she's the Eminem of women's basketball.
Mm, I like that.
That's what she is. And she's the Eminem because you know how well Eminem he's a guest in hip hop. No, no, sir. He was a guest when when he first came in. He lives here. Okay, he's no longer a guest. This is he lives here, and that's how they're treating her. Like they're just like, well, she's this and she no, she's doing exactly what she did in college. She's gonna do it in WNBA. It's just that simple. And it bothers the hell out of me because I'm gonna tell you like this: Chicago did Angel Reese dirty. They did her dirty when her press conference was that shit was. I'd have been embarrassed. Like y'all got it. This is your rookie. Like you gotta you gotta do something for her.
Are you talking about
And
what she said after the Met Gala?
no, when they first introduced Angel Reese, she walked into an empty gym with nothing, no fanfare compared to Caitlin's. Like when she got to where is she? Where's she? Indiana.
Yeah.
When her media day, they had fans in the gym. They had everything. They rolled out the red carpet for her. Ranger Reese walked into an empty gym with some reporters. It shit was sad. I felt bad for her, bro. I felt bad.
I'll say this: there was some, at least one picture I saw of her at the Met Gala.
Mm.
Angel Reese. Hello.
Hey, hey, man, listen. She nice. But the thing is, like, the WNBA has a problem with marketing stars because I mean, you could probably name a handful of, I don't know, you probably can count on one hand the amount of superstars they've marketed since 2010.
Yeah, I mean, you can say Lisa Sparks, right? And then Brittany Griner, or not Lisa Sparks. Her name isn't Lisa Sparks. She was on the Sparks. What was her name?
I think she just
And
retired.
then
See, that's the problem. This is the problem I'm talking about.
we have
If
Sue Bird.
if exactly, you have Sue Bird, you
Yeah,
have she just retired. Um,
not Tarasi.
Tarasi's another one,
Yeah.
but there's
Well,
a
I know these names because shout out to Strikeout Beer in the WNBA Fantasy Basketball League. But I'm very familiar with all these ladies now. Shout out to my girl Enrique Gumbawale. If I get a chance to draft you this Monday, I'm going to do it. Oh my goodness, you should see this girl play basketball, Nate.
but that's what I'm saying though. Like they don't market very well, and now you got, I'm gonna say, arguably one of the most marketable basketball players to come into your league.
Right.
You got to do something with that. Angel Reese is another one. You got to put these kids. You got to put them on TV. Like you saw San Antonio. San Antonio didn't have that many fucking primetime games before Wimby got there. They was on TV every other day when Wimby. That's what you got to do. You got to
Well, the
figure it
thing,
out.
right. And I don't think they foresaw her blowing up the way she did when they came out with the WNBA League Pass that's on YouTube. But I mean, now that she's in the pass, or now that she's in the league, you got to give up the pass and just figure out a way to get all your games on
Yep.
TV and
Yep.
get the most exposure possible. Because
It's
if the only way to watch the league right now is to pay, $8 or whatever for the YouTube pass, it's
dude.
just, even though it's
There was a
easily
line. There was a line. Their first game, their preseason game or summer league game was in Dallas. There was a line out the door for her. Are you kidding me? She sells herself. Like it's there. You just gotta make use of it. Like just put her shit on TV.
And she was a great addition to a young Indiana Fever team that just
Yep.
had Aaliyah Boston drafted last year, and
Yep.
she's awesome. She's fun to
And
watch.
their chemistry together is crazy already.
Yep.
So it's I'm really interested to see what the WNBA does with her with this, because I don't
We're
know.
entering an era. Listen, one of our first episodes, I think we were in like the double, not too far into our mostly football episodes, and we were talking so much trash about the
So much
WNBA.
trash,
And
hot garbage,
Megan Rapinoe was talking about equal
straight.
pay for the soccer teams.
Yeah, it's
Now we're at a point where you and I
nuttiness.
are excited
I'm
about
excited for this
WNBA
shit. I
games.
can't wait. I can't wait. I'm going to make sure I catch a couple of these games
Oh
because
yeah. You know what's crazy too? I think Chicago not only has Angel Reese, but I'm pretty sure the other player they drafted was the girl. I shouldn't say girl. The young lady, the woman, who they got in a clash with during the playoffs in South Carolina. Like Carballo. I'm pretty sure her name is, or Cordello.
yeah, you
So
talking
so
about
that
the paired with injuries? Yeah, yeah, yeah. They
so,
on the same team now.
yeah. So
Hmm.
that's an interesting storyline as well.
Yeah, it's it's that's the marketing. That's what you market. It's simple.
Um,
It's very simple.
and speaking of good news for the WNBA, this was something that just happened that I believe the league commissioner announced.
What?
The WNBA set to institute a full charter program during the 2024 season. So rather than having their
They need this
ladies,
shit.
ride with the rest of us peasants and in public, they can be like the other professionals in sports and have their own private planes now, which is a
I
good
just
thing, right?
it's
No
just
more harassment.
what bothers me is that how is it that you've been in you've been in existence for as long as you have, and nothing's really changed with you. Like you're not like their All-Star game is during the week.
Yeah. Like,
Th-
I mean,
Who the,
there's work to do. It says right
who
here.
the hell
Um,
wants to watch an All-Star game during the week? Nobody.
so have a lot of
Everybody's
work
at
to
work.
do. This is the classic phrase that we use, to buy more time. We have a lot more
Dude,
work. We have a lot more work to do, but we're doing
Cheryl
something.
Swoops was in the league then. You were saying we have work to do. It is it's now 2024 and you still talking about we have work to do? No, we passed that. We are past that. They did what? They raised 70 million capital and been deploying capital strategy.
Yeah. Hey,
This is sad.
28th season.
28.
28th season of the WNBA.
You have 28 seasons. You've been around for 28 years. The earth has spun around the sun 28 times. And you talk about we still got work to do? Nah, you passed that. You cooked.
Hey, speaking of which, you know what I found out the other day?
What?
The Earth is pear-shaped. Had no idea.
It's pear
Don't-
shaped.
Yeah, I'm not crazy. I'm not saying the Earth is flat, but I found out the Earth is pear-shaped. You can look it up. Neil deGrasse Tyson does a whole thing on it.
I like that guy. I like listening to him talk. He's a smart. He's one of the smart black ones.
He's one of the good ones.
I do the smart dude. He's smart. I'm like I feel smart listening to him sometimes.
Sometimes he gets pretty wild with his messages on X now, formerly Twitter. He would put up some wild stuff that got him in trouble, but he's all right.
Yeah, I don't think he
Used to,
cares.
I mean, talk about a transformation. He used to have a great body. He was a wrestler, back in his heyday.
Hey, that retirement gets you.
It'll get you. Never retire is what I've learned. You either get fat or die.
Basically, yeah.
All right, so we did the WNBA thing. I'm always late with the ticker, of course. I wanted to share. We are in the hockey playoffs right now, which I love playoff hockey. Ooh, do I love playoff hockey.
Oh, Dallas is in the second round? Okay.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hopefully they don't come up short again.
Man, I watched last night, Dallas, Colorado. This dude got absolutely sandwiched. I hit him high, you hit him low type of thing. The Stars hit this one guy from Colorado, and it was brutal. Right in front of the fans, right behind the net. And it's funny to see.
I gotta get to a hockey game, man.
Oh, I've been to one hockey game in my life. Syracuse Crunch. Shout out to Syracuse Crunch. It was a lot of fun back when I was a kid.
Yeah, I gotta get to a hockey game because I heard it's fun.
And what's fun about instant replay too is you get to see who is instantly horrified by what they just saw and who is like, yeah, like seeing that divide in people is kind of interesting.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to get into one of those.
Yeah, hockey. I mean, it's funny. Like it never gets the real attention. It doesn't get the play during the regular season, and people don't talk about it much. But then when you really sit down and talk about it with people, they're always like, "Yeah, those guys. It's like once you talk to people about it, they're amazed by it. But people don't seek it out. It's really fun.
It's like baseball. People don't really talk about baseball till the World Series, till the playoffs start, and then it starts to pick up traction.
Baseball's got to go. I'm sorry. I hate to say that about America's so-called pastime, but my God, it's got to go. It's just taking up too much space.
It's too long. Just cut the season in half. Like 162, 100. It was 62, 182 games. How many fucking games is it? It's if you got 100 games, it's too long. You need to cut the season in half.
And at this point, we can call it umpire abuse. Okay, you got the AI strike zone right there, but you're still making these guys make the calls. It's like you're making them look like assholes.
His name? I don't even watch baseball, but what's his name? Angel something. He's an umpire and he's awful. He's terrible. Like I watched a couple videos. I'm like, dude, I'm not even behind the plate, and I can tell you that was not a strike. It's like, what are you looking at? Like, then they should replay. I'm like, he was way off. Like, what are you looking at? I'm like, he's literally watching these balls go fall. Like, and he's calling strikes. I'm like, all right, it's either somebody got his kids or he's just a complete idiot. Because it don't make no sense. It don't make no sense to be there. Like, you could miss a call. All right. It might have hit, it might have crossed the plate, it might not. I get it. But them shits is like far off. They're like Snoop Dogg throwing out the first pitch off. Like It's no. And he's like, strike. No, what are you doing? That's why
No,
that's how people get hit with bats.
yeah, before they put the square up there, like probably like before they put the yellow lines in football, it's just way better. You didn't get that because now you have this very objective thing right there when it's supposed to be subjective. The strike zone is subjective. Each ump, it's supposed to be like when you come into the game and you talk to the ump and you grease him up a little bit and you get to know his kids and who his family is and maybe you get on his good side and he
Like,
calls a few things differently. But
no,
when you
like
got
this
the
is like,
square right there,
yeah,
take
I'm just watching this. I'm literally I've watched like a couple videos and I'm like, this is egregious. Like this, like I could I they're the NFL referees, they can get a pass sometimes. Shit's going for 100 miles an hour. Sometimes shit's real time. It's hard to see shit real time. I get it. Basketball, same thing. Sometimes it's difficult to make certain calls. I get it. There's no fucking excuse for you to be standing directly behind the catcher. You're standing up, mind you. You're behind the fucking catcher. It's right there. It's in front of your face and it's coming to you. So there's no way in fucking hell you could say I I, I couldn't tell what it was. No. You're fucking blind. And their fans' reactions are even funnier because like you just want to kick him. You just want to fucking kick him.
SB Fantasy Football. What's up? Thank you so much for the sub on YouTube. Appreciate you checking in tonight. Hopefully you're back for the mock draft. And yes, that's this whole we got to figure out the battle between AI and human and technology in baseball because it's gonna ruin it. I want it
No.
to go, I want it to go back to the way it was.
Yeah, it's
Here's
something
do
because
you know the rules as far as like if a runner gets hit with the ball, what happens? Is he out or does he get to advance to a base?
like if he's running,
Like if he's running to first and the pitcher throws it to first and he hits the runner accidentally, what happens? Is he out or is he get
I
to
don't think
go to first?
I think he's allowed to because if that's the case, motherfuckers be getting pelted with balls as they running
Okay,
through bases.
so this leads me to my next point on how to make the game better.
I'm pretty sure if he gets
Maybe
hit with the ball,
instead we use, maybe not a lacrosse ball, but a softer type ball.
no, he's not out. It's not
Okay,
kickball.
so he's not out. So hear me out. We use a softer ball. I'm not a lacrosse ball, but did you play wall ball when you were a kid?
Yes.
There you go. So a tennis ball, if you use a tennis ball, I mean, people are going to be hitting over the fence, not left and right. But we got to figure out a way to get a little bit of risk, a little bit of damage. You
Listen,
know,
listen. I've watched. Listen, that baseball is only dangerous for pitchers. I put you like that. Pitchers are the only ones that are in like real danger
and
in
if you've never been
baseball.
a pitcher, it's terrifying. It's terrifying. Like, yes, you're in control somewhat.
That ball comes off that bat the wrong way, you're fucking done. I watched one video like it
Speaking of
hit.
which, I have a banner
It's
for this. Oh shit,
y'all
never
should stick to football chat. I it's I've been kind of like keeping up with baseball for a little bit. Not a big expert on it, but being a pitcher, some of the videos I've seen, it's fucking dangerous. I watched one dude get the ball just comes off the bat, smacks him right in the head. It looked like his soul left his body. He didn't know where the hell he was at. He was down for a minute. I'm like, that is you couldn't pay me enough. I'd rather just
mind.
be out now in the outfield somewhere. No, you couldn't pay me enough to be a pitcher. That ball comes off the bat the wrong way. Nah, you got it. You got it.
You
It doesn't
have,
happen often, but it happens. It
yeah,
does.
happens enough.
Listen,
Happens enough. He's throwing the ball, and the guy he's throwing it at gets a helmet at least.
listen. 1% is too much. If
The
there's a possibility
the
that
guy's
I
just
can
like,
get,
well, I understand it doesn't happen often, but happened to me. Now my kids.
no, I'm sorry. That I just I couldn't do it. I give respect. I give respect to pitchers. Like it's tough on them. You throwing hundreds of pitches, and
It
I
happened
give it to.
literally one time to me in Little League, and not to toot my own horn or anything, but I fucking pulled a Neo Matrix move and I caught it, got the kid out, whatever. I don't talk about it very often, but
He said it's no big deal, no biggie.
no big deal. All right, on to basketball. We got the playoffs happening in basketball as well. We got one more topic, two more topics
The
here before we hit our
Knicks
mock draft.
are shocking people right now.
Dude,
The Knicks
I
are shocking.
commented. Okay, shout out Strikeout Beers in the house. Shout out to them the other night. I was in the chat,
Of
and
course,
I
they
could
lost.
not sing enough praises for Jalen Brunson. That guy is
He
so
left
much fun to
Dallas.
watch.
He left Dallas and just became an all-star. Something was
Holy
going on
shit,
in
that guy's
Dallas.
fun to watch.
Something was going on in Dallas because he didn't want to be there. Or he was just like, yeah, I'm about to show y'all what I'm really about. That man. Oh
So you
shit.
got
The
New
Nuggets.
York. Yeah, they lead that series 2-1.
Yeah. Yeah, they lost tonight. That's unfortunate, but I think they're gonna ball. I think it's gonna be a 5-game series for that one.
Got your Boston and Cleveland
Boston's
series
ass,
tied
man.
1-1.
Boston's ass. Boston's they are fucking terrible. Should have showed it while he was here and would have gotten paid. I don't think he wanted to be in Dallas, to be honest with you. I don't think he wanted to be in Dallas anymore. Cause it don't you don't flip a switch like that. But back to Boston. They're a bunch of goddamn there's a steaming pile of dog shit out there. The how you blow them out the first game and then you come back and get your ass smacked the next game. Fucking Boston, man. They're I hope they lose this series. I really hope they lose this series. I know they're not, but Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown are two of the most inconsistent superstars in the league right now. They're,
Man,
they're
I don't
inconsistent,
know who to
man.
liken them to in the NFL. I mean, that's where we know more. But
They are
whoever does the best, maybe like a Dak Prescott, like awesome in the regular season, putting up points left and right. But when it comes to
they
the
are
postseason,
terrible, man.
disappear.
They are fucking awful. Like they'll have a good game here and there, but they are in two of the most inconsistent individuals, and it just blows my mind that people still look at them as superstars. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, look at the Golden State series. They that should have told you enough.
Yeah.
If Jalen
Well, you know
Brown
how
has a
much.
good game, Jason Tatum fucking disappears, or vice versa.
Well, that's where I think fantasy comes into it too. I mean, fantasy definitely impacts how we view these guys, and if you're still, lighting it up in that world, people are going to give you your props until you're no longer putting up your points. Then you're trash. Then you're not even helping us in fantasy. It's like fuck.
Yeah, man.
But yeah,
I can't with Boston. It's pitiful. Uh,
this
I,
series right here, T Wolves and
that
Nuggets. I
is
mean,
gonna.
Jokic.
They're up. So
They,
they're up right now. They're up almost 20 on the Wolves right now. It's
okay.
42-25 right now. Um, but they got to figure it out. Jokic is he's an out of shape dad. That's the best center in the league right now. He has the bod of a fucking retired fucking firefighter. Okay, and he just dominates, and it's and he's not fast. He's like Luca. Luca's slow as shit, but he gonna give you the business.
It's crazy. There's some sort of European, Croatian, Caucasian dark magic that they
Man,
use
I
over
don't know
there
what it is
to just
because
weave through the weave through the paint.
this man
Like the
has
way Lucas he just jogs through there.
he's slow as shit. Jokic the same way. Like, and
Yeah.
there's nothing fancy. There's no they don't have a special move. He's just gonna beat you. Denver is pissed off. That's exactly what's happening right
Putting
now.
up a
I
fight, man.
I
No one
think they
stay in
got
it.
their ass. I think they got their asses embarrassed the first 2 games, and it was like, yeah, this shit's not happening no more. This is no, this is not what this is.
No.
I would love to see Anthony Edwards in I don't know. Do I want to see Dallas? Or, I would like to see. Luca get his, but Shea's been playing great. He honestly probably should have won MVP, but
It's not just Luca. I mean, Kyrie on the team makes it even better.
Kyrie got one. I don't care about Kyrie. I would like to see Luca get his.
The
Yeah,
man
it's
was
called practice.
vilified during the pandemic.
It's games
He's
a
my
week, not
hero.
practice once.
Sorry, I
You're
stepped
right
on
about
you.
that.
I
It is
stepped on you
practice.
reading it.
You did. It is practice, and these kids out here, they flashy. It's not a pyramid scheme in Euro. It is. It's right. Like they love the game because the fact that these Europeans come over here and be busting our ass is remarkable. It is
Yeah.
remarkable. The A shit here is just scamming idiots. It is. It's expensive too. I was looking at some because I was thinking about, nah, man, that shit's nah. I'd rather just stay in the little park leagues because that shit is in fuck no. All that money you got to spend for travel and you could do all that shit in one fucking city.
I had a. It is. It's a lot, and it leads to burnout too. It makes these kids not even like to play anymore.
Nah.
A lot of the time. But yeah, I had a coworker of mine. He brought up the whole who could play between NBA and NFL type conversation. Who could switch
Why
leagues?
did
I'm like, I'd tell you who couldn't. Jokic. Like
nobody?
the guy has zero explosion. He could not play in the NFL. He is so
I
slow.
hate that Austin Rivers brought that bullshit up. I really did. Because understand something. People need to understand something. There's a drill. It's called the Oklahoma drill. That has made a ton of basketball players, baseball players, and soccer players.
But it's so
That's
fun crashing into each other after you get up off the ground.
it is. But it has made a lot of basketball players. It made a lot of people rethink playing football. And the fact that Austin Rivers like they're making what? No, they're not. They're not making a fucking run. They don't need to make a run.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's 45-32. Yeah, they making a goddamn run right now. Shit. But it he for him to say that he can pick 30 guys out of NBA and put them on a football field. No, the fuck you can't.
Well,
No.
okay, so people have talked for years that LeBron can make the switch, and I agree. He would make a hell of a receiver, I think. He's just an uber athlete.
Yeah, but he wouldn't make a good receiver because think about it like he's athletic, he's his size, his strength. He's not very fast. Nate gets a point. That's for damn sure.
Oh,
He
look at you getting props here.
he get if you took guys like LeBron,
Let me make a banner for this. This is a fun conversation.
there's these NBA dudes are built for in are not built. They're not. Because if you look at guys like KD, KD is like what? He's seven
Where's the
foot.
double arrow?
He's probably what 220, maybe like 230. It wouldn't take much to he the first hit would be done. Like LeBron, we already see what LeBron does when he gets tapped. You think he gonna take? You think
I
he
think
gonna be able
that
to take?
I think when
No,
it's advantageous for your sport and
no,
your team and it gets you extra points, yeah, you're gonna flop. But
no.
I think when you're he's like what he's
He's two
260 at least
fifty.
280.
He's 6'8", 6'9", too. But I think about it like, what would he do? Because most 6'9" players, any
Or yeah,
most
they can't
are
move well enough.
they're offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Majority of those guys that are that tall or that large, they're off. He's 6'9", two
Well,
fifty.
don't you think that's because if you're that tall and you're good at basketball, you're gonna choose basketball because there's less impact on your
Obviously,
body?
it makes sense, but again, but for the sake of this argument, to say you can pick 30 guys from the NBA and put them on a football field,
Probably
that's
stretching it.
ridiculous.
Probably
That's a
stretching
stretch
it. Yeah.
because there you look there's football build and there's basketball build.
Right.
If I could probably pick five, I don't know, bench players that are linebackers, five linebackers that play special teams, and I guarantee you one hit from either of those, LeBron gonna quit, KD gonna quit, Kyrie gonna quit, Luca gonna quit. I can promise you that. All it takes is one hit. One hit is gonna make you make a decision like I don't want to do this shit no more. No, this is not built for me. He would be a tight
Maybe,
end, but some linebackers would make him change his
maybe
life
if
quick. Exactly. Exactly.
maybe if John Lynch or Brian Dawkins is hitting you, but nowadays, I mean, it's not even
Nah,
encouraged to fucking
man.
hit
Listen,
guys anymore.
they're guys that are still no, I'm sorry. They're guys that I would you couldn't pay me
I mean,
enough to let
these type of guys might be the future of the league, to be honest. I think you get some freaks in here, and the less tackling you do, it makes these guys,
I don't
we'll
know.
see.
I don't I just and it's the same thing. Like you wouldn't be able to put a football guy on a basketball court and have them do it. Like they because like it's different. Being
You know who could do
football,
it?
who
Your boy Cam Newton. He'd be a hell of an NBA player.
no, he's
I've
hell of
seen
a
videos of him balling.
but he's been practicing that. Like being NFL and
See, I knew you
NFL
wouldn't deny it. You love him so much. You're like, yeah, he could do it, but he's been
no,
practicing.
no. NFL shape and NBA shape are two totally different things. Like when I was in shape, I couldn't play basketball. I couldn't run up the court. I can't do that full court shit. I'm done after the first time. I'm done.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's. I think he just said it just to get little clicks and likes. I feel like it's why he brought it up. But what was his name? James Jones. Is it James Jones?
Oh, the Packers receiver.
Yeah, he laid into that boy's ass.
I think James Jones. I like him because
I I watched
he
that.
made the wearing the hoodie like the most. He did it the most. I think other players wore a hoodie underneath their pads, but James Jones committed to it.
That's all people do these days for clicks. Yeah. And that's the sad part. But James Jones, he let him fucking
Oh
have
yeah.
it. And I was like,
That's why I have to. That's why people seek out podcasts like this because to be a big show anymore, you can't have any nuance. You have to say this guy either sucks or he's the greatest of all time.
no,
And people like real people don't think like that.
no. It was an interesting conversation, but they can let it go.
So we got one more topic before we hit our mock
Oh,
draft,
I
and
want to
this
I
is
want to get SB's I want to get their thoughts on this before I say with my piece.
this is where Nate agrees with someone who I think is perhaps the biggest asshole in all of sports media history. So I'm shocked Nate agrees with this guy, but here we are. So take the floor, my friend. This is your team. This is your number 8 overall selection after paying Kirk Cousins how
So hear
much?
me out. We paid him 180 million. Hear me out. Hear me out. So if Kirk Cousins is half of what we're expecting him to be, right? He's got what 2 years? We're gonna say he signed a 4-year contract. He has 2 years max. He's 36. He'll be 38. Not a lot of quarterbacks are gonna be Tom Brady because we're gonna ball this year. Not a lot of quarterbacks are gonna
Oh,
be able to do what Tom Brady did. He just came off a major injury, and if he's anything what they're expecting him to be, we'll never in the next 2 years we'll never be in this position again to pick in a top 10. And why not? You saw what happened when Kirk Cousins got hurt. They had to trade. They were in quarterback hell. They had to trade for a quarterback. They had to trade for a backup. Who the fuck wants to be trading for a backup in the middle of the season? Not fucking me. Yeah, we signed him for 180, but at the end of the day, he's going to be here for two. He might play 2 years. Depends on if he gets hurt again. I would love to have Michael Penix back him up because if we're expected to win the division the next 2 3 years, who the fuck we're not gonna be in fucking position to take a top 10 quarterback. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was like, this is gonna be Dallas Turner, and this is what it's gonna be. When they called his name, I was in shock.
okay. So here's the thing, though. So you just admitted that Kirk Cousins has this 2-year window. That
Right?
you're kind of thinking of that you acknowledged.
Mm-hmm.
Rome Odunze is sitting there at pick 8.
No.
and
Why?
he could help this team this year to
You hear what
give
you
you
just said?
more
You
weapons.
you hear what you just said? Okay, here's my thing. Why add more weapons and then in 2 years you don't have a quarterback to throw to those weapons anymore?
Maybe you
Because
do. Maybe
maybe,
maybe
maybe
some
you hear
guy
you hear that?
who's that
Maybe, maybe you
maybe
do.
Spencer Rattler, who the Saints drafted later on as
May
your guy. You know, he was
maybe.
available.
I don't like maybe. I want a for
Michael
sure
Penix
thing.
is a maybe. The way Colin Cowherd just declared, here's what is so fucking stupid about what Colin Cowherd said. He said, "Now you have the best backup in the league." Who the
Right,
hell knows what Michael Penix is going to be in the NFL yet? We have no idea what Caleb Williams is going to be. We have no idea what
right.
Jaden Daniels is going to
But
be. Drake May. You're
he
telling me you know right now that Michael Penix is the best
how
backup
Penix
in
is
the
gonna
NFL?
do. But
Get
yeah,
the
I let
fuck
him
out of
ride
here.
fine a couple years. But here's the thing. What's wrong with doing what Green Bay did? Green Bay did
Because
this twice.
no, no, no,
Green
no,
Bay,
no.
no,
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 no, no, no, no.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, no, no,
Don't
no.
you get, no,
No,
no, no.
no,
You
no, no,
can't.
no. You know
Don't
what
you
the
back out
difference
of this.
is?
Don't,
You know what
what?
the difference is?
What?
20s.
Nothing. To-
Those picks were in the 20s. They were
No,
Aaron
no.
Rodgers was not the
Green Bay,
number 8
Green
overall
Bay,
pick, and Jordan
Green
Love was
Bay,
not the number 8 overall pick.
Green Bay traded up to get Jordan Love. Nobody wanted
In
Jordan
the
Love as
20s,
it
in the
does matter.
back
It
end of
doesn't.
the first
It's
round.
it does not
They could have
matter.
traded back and still
No,
got Michael
it
Penix.
does. No,
I
no, hell no,
guarantee they could have.
no. I guarantee you we couldn't, because Denver was still there. Denver was still there, and they definitely wanted Michael Penix. There
You're
was
on the same page with SB
they were
Fantasy
quarter
Football. Just let you know. Just let you
they
know
were
about that.
quarterback needy teams. Oh, we're on the same page. I don't understand why people don't understand this. Kirk Cousins went down
Because
last
he's the
year.
same guy. He's a fan of a team that drafted Hendon Hooker in the second
Kirk
round that he's never going to see him play,
Kirk
so he's fine with it too.
Kirk Cousins went down last year. Minnesota couldn't find a quarterback. They went from the cancer patient to the rookie. I don't want to go through that. I don't want that for my team, because again, Kirk Cousins is he's Kirk Cousins is the James Harden of football. He's good in the preseason, in the regular season. What happens when he gets to the postseason? What the hell happened the year before last, when they had all those great comebacks and they got to the goddamn postseason? What happened? Where Kirk Cousins was at? Exactly.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
he's only good on Sunday
Exactly.
at 1 o'clock. He's
My
that's Kirk
point.
Cousins' time to
My
shine.
point exactly. So I'm okay with drafting. This kid is going to be what? He'll be 26 if he once he gets to play. Most players don't find themselves until they're 26.
26. 26 before he gets his first start in the NFL. My God. I mean, how old's fucking Sam Darnold? I mean, not a great example. Sam Darnold was like 20 years old, for God's sake.
Listen, man.
Jesus Christ with the draft starting. Hey, we got to get Nate's been holding
Hey,
this in since fucking
listen.
April 25th.
I like I like the pick. The pick made a lot of sense. The fact that everyone's bitching about, oh, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, so what happens if Kirk Cousins go down again?
The same
Then
thing that
what?
happens to every other team. You go with your mediocre backup, and you hope
We don't
he
have a mediocre. We have a top 10 pick. Nobody. Caleb Williams might fall on his face.
exactly. All these guys might suck, and they burned a pick.
You
They
take
burned the
no.
guy who could have helped them
Nah.
this year for something who
Who
may help
help
them when
us?
he's 26 years
Roma
old.
Tunze. Again. So here's the thing. I think what was it like? I think it
Brock
was.
Bowers, Roma Dunze,
I
whoever,
think the number is
Jonathan
70.
Brooks. That wouldn't have
I
made
think
sense.
it's 70% of first round receivers end up being busts. 70. You 70% of your first round. Oh,
Listen,
you remember
100% of your backup quarterbacks
lies.
don't help you.
False. False. That's a lie. You
Aside
know it.
from Nick Foles.
That's a lie. You know it. No, that's a lie. You know it. That's a big
Aside from
lie.
my
You
boy
know
Nick Foles.
it. That's a lie.
Aside
You know
from
it. You know what it is. You know what it's like to draft a first round receiver and they don't pan out. You remember that guy.
I remember
You
Jalen
you
Rager.
yeah, exactly. So you know what it's like to draft a first round receiver and they're not paying
Yes,
out.
I get
So
that. But at least but
I
when you take this guy, you are guaranteeing he's not gonna help you. That's the thing. This year.
I'm listen, I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm fine with him not helping us right now. If Kirk Cousins, and guess what? If Kirk Cousins don't work out this year, if he plays like dog ass this year, guess what? Now he has to compete for his spot next year.
Sure.
I just look at it like this. If Kirk Cousins is supposed to be what he's supposed to be, what they expect him to be, and us win the division, it's going to be difficult for us to get back into the top 10 if we had to start looking for a quarterback. You saw what happened when we lost Matt Ryan. We had You saw the bullshit we had to deal with. We
Oh yeah.
had Desmond Ritter and Heineke. Who the fuck wants that? Nobody wants that. I was perfectly content with this pick. I'm
Okay.
perfectly happy with us picking Penix and preparing for our future because guess what? Kyle Pitts is going to be here for a while. Drake London is going to be here. Bijan is going to be here. I'm good with that. I
So
don't
I
go.
guess
I don't
I
have no
guess
complaints.
one of the most important questions is you feel better about Darnell Mooney as your wide receiver two than if Rome Odunze was wide receiver two. Right now, you feel same as if both those players are wide receiver two.
You remember whoever our wide receiver two was last year?
Oh, that
Matt
was a
Collins,
terrible core last year. But I'm
Scotty
just saying.
Scotty Miller.
Well, I
You
feel
you
like
hit
you would feel better about
you
this
hit it.
offense if
Yes, I
Odunze was
do.
the two and not Mooney.
No. I'm perfectly fine with the receivers we brought in free agency. I'm
Okay.
perfectly fine with that. Those guys are playmakers. That's what we need. We just need a quarterback to fix to fill the position, and we did that. I I'm not concerned about the skills position. We fixed that. I was concerned about the quarterback position because that's been our biggest issue since Matt Ryan has left. We hadn't had a steady quarterback since he left. We thought Desmond Ritter was going to be the guy, and he shit the bed horribly for 3 years. So
I agree. A
I'm
few years ago, when it was the Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields drafts, it felt right. Maybe this kind of
we
feels like
should
overcorrecting for that, but
it may be, and guess what? Caleb Williams could be overcorrecting for the Bears because no one knows what this. You don't. Everyone's hyping him up, and he may not pan out. Everybody hyped up Bryce Young, and CJ Stroud was the better quarterback. So it's a flip of the coin. We'll figure it out. But I personally, I like the pick, and if this kid can sit behind Kirk Cousins for 2 years and learn, what are we losing? Nothing.
I guess it just depends on. I mean, if you're satisfied with, leaving round one in the playoffs, leaving
We not listen to me.
whatever.
Let's be completely honest here.
If the Falcons
Kirk,
win, the Falcons they signed Kirk Cousins in the hopes to win the Super Bowl, not to
let's
get
be
out round one in the
let's be
playoffs.
completely clear. Let's be completely
But
clear
you would
here.
agree with that, right?
Kirk
When they signed
Cousins,
Kirk Cousins, they wanted to win the Super Bowl.
there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way they signed Kirk Cousins like this is the guy to get us to the Super. Kirk
Well, then they
Cousins has
wasted a lot of fucking money.
Kirk Cousins has been on multiple teams. He's had great regular seasons and shit the bed in the playoffs. Kirk Cousins was the best available quarterback in the offseason. Let's be honest with be honest. Who was better than Kirk Cousins in free agency? Who was better than Kirk Cousins?
No, he's clearly the best, but
Exactly.
you signed him because you think he can get you to the Super Bowl. If
Yeah,
not, then you would have just
think.
signed Sam Darnold
Keyword
to win you a few
keyword
games.
is keyword is think. Everybody knows. Everybody with a fucking brainstem knows. Kirk Cousins is not getting us to no Super Bowl.
Then
And if
there's
he
no point to
does,
pay him that much. I hope then it's fine.
Kirk
These
Cousins
guys have a lot of
listen,
money. Then they burned it
Kirk
up.
Cousins has scammed a lot of he scammed the Vikings. We're not the only team that motherfucker is scammed. His agent is top tier. He is a top tier agent. I don't know who the fuck his agent is, but whoever his agent is gets this man paid all the time. So I'm not concerned. Look, it's $100 million. It's it's top heavy. It's a top heavy contract. So a lot of his money is gonna be the first 2 years. Everything after that is just eh, you know. We get him for 2 years and then we make the transition. It is what it
I
is.
no, I like the idea of having someone waiting in the wings. It felt early, and
Answer me this question: if the Eagles had a chance, knowing how Jalen Hurts could possibly get hurt, if you had an opportunity, let's say he was up in age, and you had an opportunity to take a top 10 quarterback, wouldn't you take him?
it all depends on your structure and where you're at. Like when they took Jalen Hurts, it made sense because they didn't know. I mean, it still threw people off. I guess it did. People were still pissed about that because they wanted Carson to get a bunch of weapons. So I just
It
it,
made
it
sense. The pick made sense. It did. Everybody was expecting us to go defense. Listen, we had a top 10 defense with fucking Bud Dupree and what's the other guy's name? I can't think his goddamn. And we lost Grady Jarrett mid-season. We still had a top 10 defense. The problem was the fucking offense.
yeah, no, and
So
that's
now,
where
so
Kirk
now
Cousins was
you
here.
solidify your quarterback position for the next 10 years.
Hopefully,
I'm okay with that.
hopefully.
I'm okay with it. I mean,
I'm glad.
you got to look at it. If he becomes a bust, he's going to join all the other quarterbacks that are bust. The Sam Darnolds, the Zach Wilsons. Like, hell, Caleb Williams might not make it. Who knows? We just got to wait and see.
Like I said, I think it just came down to like to make that pick, you had to feel like all of your other positions on offense you were very comfortable with, and I just
We
felt
were.
like
We were.
Mooney and Rondell Moore as your 2 and 3 you could have improved on, and I feel like a lot of other people felt that too.
We could have, but why? If we can take this, our offense is going to be based around Bijan. Period.
Yeah,
Our offense is going to be based around Bijan, and then it's going to work its way out. We have Kyle Pitts. We still have Drake London. Like we got guys that can make plays. You only, honestly, realistically, you only need one or two. Look, I mean, you look at the Bengals offense, right? Jamar Chase, their best receiver,
yeah,
but everything started with the run game. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with having Kyle Pitts and Drake London and Bijan. I'm okay with that. We did, would it be nice to take Rome Odunze or Dallas Turner? Absolutely. But if you're not going to be if you don't anticipate being in the top 10 for the next 2 years, take the take the opportunity when you have it.
yeah, yeah. Both sides presented.
That's how I look at it. I'm that this draft is probably the first time I haven't been pissed with this team. That's me being
I
honest.
do like they made some good picks. Made some good
Hey,
picks.
we I think we got a lot of solid players towards the end of like days 2 and 3. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
we gonna see how things play out though.
You
But
ready to do this mock draft?
we might as well let's go ahead and get this started.
Let's do this thing. We have a 12-team half PPR mock draft. The reason you are all here tonight. And Nate originally had pick 1, so I had to switch that up, and we reordered it a little bit.
Such a hater.
So now Nate has pick 5, and I am rounding it out with pick 12. I get the double tap at the end here. So it's a
That's
12-team
why
half
you went to
PPR, like I
12, you
said.
bastard.
Oh yeah, I get 2 picks, of course. Yeah. So let's just see how it goes. I'm excited to see.
I can tell you
Any
the
more?
top 5 players are gone. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah. What are you thinking? I mean, just before we get started here, who's
McCaffrey,
on your? You going
only
Bijan? You trying to hope Bijan's available?
I don't know. I don't, based off the production. Well, based off the production he had last year because of Arthur Smith, I don't know. This is gonna be a tricky one.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Do you have any? So here's what I like about each individual person has their preference of players, but I feel like as far as fantasy football goes, like on the whole, there's two different general types of structures. There's the guy who says, "Okay, I'm at this point in the draft and I don't have a tight end. So rather than get a bench player who could help me at running back or receiver, I'm gonna go tight end because that's a position I don't have filled yet. Or there's the
That's
guy
me.
who sees, okay, so that's you. Okay, and that's why I
Yeah.
like the variance because there's the other guy who I feel like is I'm that guy most of the time where I could get a tight end here, but there's a bench player who could help me at wide receiver, running back, so I'll get that guy instead. So I think I
Mhm.
like that's where variances come in, just different positional values, and also, I mean, where you feel like you want to pick up the best kicker and the best defense, because those we're going to do kicker and defense in this draft too. So it's going to be a one quarterback, two running back, two wide receiver, one tight end, one flex, kicker and defense, and we have 7 bench spots. So without any further ado, Nate, you ready to get this thing started?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get this started.
All right, let's start the very first, mostly football, fantasy football mock draft of the off season.
I'd be surprised if Christian McCaffrey don't go first.
And
But
here we go. McCaffrey off the board first, CD
what the
Lamb,
shit?
Tyreek Hill,
What the
Justin
shit,
Jefferson.
man?
No, you still have
Ah,
great options. Jamar Chase, Amon Ra, and your boy
ah,
Bijan.
that's not. These are not good.
Are you kidding? These are primo choices to go with. I mean, Brees Hall is probably the most hyped of all these. You got Aaron Rodgers coming back, and he had what 90 targets last year, 70 catches, I think. Oh, Nate makes his pick, and he goes with Jamar Chase. What drove the choice there, Nate?
So I'm a points guy. That's what I look. I look for the heavy point, the ones who produce the most. Obviously, that's why last year Justin Jefferson was my first round pick, and he kind of like burned me halfway through the season with that damn hamstring injury.
So you wanted to go upside here, big points.
Yeah. I
You
typically,
confident? You confident Joe Burrow? Did that play into your decision at all?
yeah, I'm always confident in Joe Burrow. I mean, even when Joe Burrow did play, Jamar Chase was still producing.
Well, yeah, okay. So you just felt like the upside over Amon-Ra St. Brown was there. You didn't go with Bijan, who went 7, and then we had Brees Hall 8, Amon-Ra, or excuse me, AJ Brown 9, Puka Nakua, last year's rookie sensation, goes 10, and Garrett Wilson, with all the promising
I
upside
don't,
of Aaron
I don't
Rodgers,
think,
he goes 11.
I don't think Puka Nakua is gonna have the season he had his first year.
Who do you think I'm going to go with here? Got my choice. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is very tempting. He's definitely at the top of my list.
You
But you
would
also have
know,
Kyron
but you
Williams.
would, but you, I don't, you don't look like a running back guy in the first round. You look like, you definitely look like a receiver guy. I believe you.
Taking Jahmyr Gibbs. I took Jahmyr Gibbs off the board. Just the promise
While I
of
figure out some shit. What the fuck, man? Come
I
on,
had to
man. You didn't have to take him.
I had to take him.
Jim,
At this point, the upside of what this Lions offense is, I mean, Jared Goff is totally fine dumping it down to him. And then, you've got David Montgomery, another year in the league. Is this finally the age drop off? He's only, I think, 20. He's either 27 or he's between 27 and 29. But
he got another 2 years before he drops off.
yeah, and he's the red zone guy still. They like to get him the touchdowns. But Jahmyr Gibbs, I went with the upside. This is a half PPR. And yeah, I think just he's the new Alvin Kamara, and he's going to get me all those PPR points. And I'm going to pair him with a guy. Do I want to get? I'm not thinking Jonathan Taylor. I don't love him this year with Anthony Richardson, and I think Anthony Richardson's going to snake a lot of touchdowns from him. Unlike Jahmyr Gibbs, Jared Goff's not a runner. Marvin Harrison scares me a little bit. Rookie wide receiver he's got all the talent in the world, but he's coming in.
Why?
He's definitely going to be number 1.
Yeah. Well, why? I mean, if Kyler can stay healthy, Kyler gonna get him the ball. That's for
Yes.
sure. Kyler gonna get him the ball.
For sure, but just he's a rookie and he's gonna have to figure out being the number 1 and having all the attention on him, and it
You
just
know who
it
his
doesn't.
daddy was?
I do.
I think his dad. I think he's prepared for that. I think he's prepared for that spotlight.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna ruin your day,
You
and I'm gonna
mother.
take Drake London off the
Why the
board
fuck
here.
would you take Drake London off the? Oh my god.
So I
What
did
the?
it. I did it a
What?
little bit just to burn your ass because it's fun to do in our first draft together. But also
You son of a bitch.
the hype
Okay.
train.
The
The
hype
hype
train is
train
real.
is real this season for Drake London. Kirk Cousins is in the house. He's got the number one target there. And talk about a guy who, demanded targets last year. The efficiency was pretty good. And I just think, your competition is Mooney, Rondell Moore, Kyle Pitts, who hasn't shown much. He had 1,000 yards his first season. And he just was banged up last year, so
Mm,
I wanted to promise the upside of Drake London, and let's be honest, I wanted to dig into you a little bit. So,
you
what are you
son
thinking
of.
here with your second pick after taking Jamar Chase in the first round? Oh,
I usually like to build. I'm not gonna. Why am I telling you this shit?
no, you have to tell me.
Uh,
You get to pick again before me anyway.
uh,
And by the
this
way,
is a
after me, we
this is a
had Kyron Williams, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon, Marvin Harrison, Devontae Adams, and
this is gonna
Brandon
be a
Ayuk
tough one.
goes before Debo.
I think I'm gonna
Interesting.
do this one. I think I'm gonna take this person because I think he's gonna help out a ton. He's gonna help this young guy out a ton.
Okay, so Nate goes with Stephon Diggs here in the second round on this red hot Houston Texans team. What goes into that decision for you?
Oh, he's gonna bring. He's gonna get a lot of targets. Let's just be honest. Like he's better. I mean, Nico Collins is a young guy and he's very talented. But you bring in a guy like Stephon Diggs for a reason.
You're not
I
worried
mean,
about
you
him kind of falling off last year in
no,
Buffalo?
no, no, no. Because the thing is CJ Stroud take care of the ball way better than Josh Allen did. Okay, he so I'm not worried about him forcing shit to Stephon Diggs, but I think I don't think he's gonna have a big year, but I definitely believe he's gonna have a pretty decent year this year.
They front loaded his contract to where they're expecting him to have a big year. So
Yeah, yeah,
um,
exactly.
after Diggs,
Ooh,
Chris Olave, and then Devon Achane, Nico Collins, another Texans receiver in the second round. So that's interesting. To round out the second round was Josh Allen, quarterback of the Bills. Then Sam Laporta goes at 3-1. And then Josh Jacobs, running back for the Green Bay Packers now, 3-2. Travis Etienne, 3-3. Ooh, Mike Evans goes 3-4. And here we go. Nate already surprising me here in the third round. And I was
mm,
curious if you were going to go running back because you'd taken two wide receivers. So I was wanted to ask you about that. And Nate chose to go Derrick Henry, the new lead back, touchdown scorer, unquestioned lead running back for the Baltimore Ravens this season. In
that
the
red
third
zone is gonna
round
be
here.
crazy. That red zone offense for Baltimore is going to be crazy with Derrick Henry in the backfield.
So let me ask you this. I mean, names like DJ Moore, Debo Samuel,
Hmm.
and then some hot quarterbacks, Jamar, or Jesus Christ, my boy, Jalen Hurts, and then Lamar Jackson goes. So obviously, it seems like you felt pressure to get a running back here after going wide receiver, or is this just someone you feel very confident about in Derrick Henry this
I
season?
definitely feel confident in Derrick Henry. It's like I said, it's going to be it's Lamar and Derrick Henry. Like you can't you can't not expect him to have a big year. And even if he doesn't run, let's say he barely cracks 1,000. I believe like anything between that 10-yard line is gonna be Derrick Henry. Get a ball to Derrick Henry and let him run. Lamar don't have to take that punishment no more. Give it to the big man in the backfield and let him run that ball. So I think Derrick Henry might have a lot of his touchdowns are gonna come in that short yardage 10 between that 10 to 5 yard line. It's gonna be a crazy season for them.
So right here, I already have Jameer Gibbs, and Drake London. So I have the best of both worlds with running back and wide receiver. I don't feel any pressure to go a certain way. Boy, Pat Mahomes is staring me right in the face here as one of the best available remaining quarterbacks. A guy who's going to throw a lot of touchdowns. He doesn't give you any rushing yardage, though. So that's what makes me hesitant. But yet, is Anthony Richardson going to be there when I pick again? That's something I have to consider if I want a rushing
Mm.
quarterback. And I don't think he's going to make it all the way back to me. So Mahomes is definitely tempting here. And then you have explosive players, Jalen Waddle, Cooper Kupp's probably going to have a good bounce back year. For him and Matt Stafford have that mind melt. I am very hesitant on Malik Neighbors this year. I don't necessarily think he's going to be a bust, but you're getting balls from Daniel Jones and no time to throw it. Yeah. So I think what I'm going to do here, I don't love the running backs available. I think I'm leaning wide receiver, and I'm going to take the explosive Jalen Waddle, who is banged up often, but
That's
when he's
that's
healthy,
wild. That's
he's an
wild.
ex- he's an explosive pick. And if anything happens to Tyreek Hill, who's missed a few games with injuries himself, Waddle becomes the number one. He has the chemistry with Tua, all going back to
But
Alabama.
remember what
So
just happened a couple days ago. Remember who they just signed a couple days ago.
are you
Yeah.
trying to tell me I should be worried about OBJ?
Yes, sir. I believe so. No,
All
fuck
right.
no. Oh, he
I
he's
just
he's he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be a part of the three wide set. But I don't. I think he's just gonna be more of a distraction than anything. I don't see him like actually being a big part of their offense.
I
I,
used
I,
to avoid guys like Jalen Waddle because I didn't want the boom bust. I figured I could get boom bust guys later, and I wanted guys who were more consistent this early. But I've come to find these week winner type of guys, you got to get them early, and you can get guys like Keenan Allen later on who will give you some a good floor. But I like to get now that I'm a little more experienced and I understand what it takes to win a week and win a league. I do like these guys who can win you a week, and are explosive, even if they bring you some injury concerns. So now I'm looking at I have my two wide receivers set. I don't necessarily feel pressured to get a running back, and there's not great options available. I do like Mixon, but I feel like I can get someone good later. There's still guys like Aaron Jones and Ramondre Stevenson, some names here. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and add my boy Devontae Smith here and get my flex set up, not only because he's an Eagle, but because he's only, the upper trajectory of his career right now. He just got paid. He just got the extension. So clearly the team likes what he's doing. And Nate has already selected. So let me not wax too poetic on how I feel about Devontae Smith here in my flex spot. And Nate, wanting to pick it, what went into taking CJ Stroud there?
I had to. He's better. He's one. He obviously still one of the best quarterbacks still available, and he had an outstanding year last year. Like I had him. I had him. I traded for him midway, probably about midway through the season last year, and shit, he he helped my fantasy team out tremendously, especially because I was having quarterback issues because I decided to draft Aaron Rodgers last year, and that motherfucker didn't last but 6 seconds. So
Yeah,
yeah, so
that's
I
something.
struggled.
That's something too that people need to take into account, especially in your family leagues. People are going to draft depending on who burned them last year and who helped them out last year. So that's something that you just can't really account for as far as like, because you're not going to remember who these guys drafted, but they certainly do. And it's all a very fun part of how it plays into who you draft and how you draft and, who's off people's boards is what they did to you last season. So what are you thinking here? You now have two wide receivers and Chase and
I'm
Diggs.
think
Henry is
I'm
your running
I'm
back and Stroud's your quarterback.
I'm
What are we thinking?
thinking I need another running back,
Okay.
but I
Mixon
don't
or
like what I'm
Walker?
looking at. I don't like mixing Walker. He was hurt last. What he was hurt last year.
He gets
I'm
banged
not.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. And Kamara, he didn't. Kamara's wishy washy. Like he'll have some weeks he's good, some weeks he's not. And then, especially with the young guys now, he split a lot of time with them last year. And I had Kamara last year too. So it's mm,
I don't know. Kamara, from what I remember, dominated the touches last year. He was very helpful.
no, no, he wasn't. He wasn't. I wish he was, but he wasn't very helpful to me because a lot of times, like, because he split because remember I think he missed 3 games because of
He
the
missed the three
suspension.
games. Yeah.
And then the young guys are already in rotation, so he just started splitting all the time with them, and it kind of messed everything up for me. Man, I feel like I'm gonna have to go down. You know what? He had a good year last year.
Uh-oh.
It's gonna be a stretch, but he had a good year last year.
I had a feeling. I had a feeling. Okay, so Nate goes with the newly signed DeAndre Swift for the Chicago Bears, part of the Caleb Williams era here. And certainly, if the bottom line is if Caleb Williams is good, then DeAndre Swift is going to be good because they're going to be in the red zone a lot and he'll have a lot of scoring opportunities. If
That's what he did in
Caleb
Philly.
Williams is not good, then Swift could still be good because he could get the dump offs. You're hoping he
So
gets the passes. You're hoping Caleb Williams doesn't scramble around and pick up 4 yards rather than dump it off to DeAndre Swift.
I
So you're
mean,
kind of
hey,
just going on the hotness of like being the newly signed free agent. That's
that too,
sure.
because like you say, if it's gonna be an up and down. If he's good, if Caleb Williams is good, DeAndre Swift is gonna be okay. If he's bad, it's gonna be a problem.
All right, so let's try to read off some names here. In the fourth round, we had Cooper Cup go after I took Devontae Smith, Malik Neighbors, Metcalf, Mahomes, Trey McBride going in the fourth before Mark Andrews, which is really interesting. And then you took CJ. Keenan Allen goes in the fourth. Rashad White, who I think is going to have another great season in the same
Tank
system.
Dell is who I was looking for, and I couldn't.
uh,
He was who I was looking for.
Big Tell 411, James Cook 412, and then Pacheco 5-1. Pacheco is an interesting one. Rasheed Rice, who's in a ton of trouble right now.
He might not play.
5-2, T. Higgins, Dalton Kincaid. You took DeAndre Swift, and then Kamara goes right after him. So kind of a run on running backs after you took Swift.
A good run.
Kamara, Mixon, and Walker. And then we had Flowers go, Pickens, who's a great pick in the fifth round. That should be good value. And then finally, the third Bears wide receiver goes in the first 5 rounds in a Doomsday. So here I am. I'm pretty much set at receiver right now in London, Waddle, and Smith. I have Jahmyr Gibbs. Anthony Richardson is very tempting right now as one of the final dual threat quarterback. Well, not really. You can still have Kyler Murray. And then I'm really looking at James Conner, who's a 1-year guy, but in a redraft, you only need 1 year. And yes, they drafted Trey Benson, but you don't know he's going to be the guy. And then, like we talked about with the other options, Marvin Harrison's definitely going to be the one. And then you're just not sure. So, James Conner, who had a good year last year, 882 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns, caught quite a few passes. I'm very tempted. And as far as the other running backs go, oh boy, you know what? Aaron Jones sitting there. Damn. I'm going to take Aaron Jones. After doing all that talk about James Conner, I'm going to take Aaron Jones. And you know what I could do? Actually, I'm going to double tap that. I'm going to go ahead. And after all I said about James Conner, singing his praises, I'm going to take him anyway. So now he's on my bench. Aaron Jones round out my running backs with Jahmyr Gibbs. So now I have him, Jones, Drake London, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, and Connor on the bench. Still no quarterback, still no tight end. So my onesie positions are still wanting. And here we are, Nate, after I took Aaron Jones, David Montgomery and James Conner. Montgomery off the board, George Kittle, Amari Cooper, Christian Kirk, Jordan Addison, Ramondre Stevenson. And now here we are with you. Was there someone in this chunk right here who you were looking at? Or did a guy fall to you who you wanted?
Everybody that I want is there. I'm just deciding on if I want to take them at the moment. Brock Bowers is definitely a guy that I'm looking at, but I know they have Michael Mayer from last year that they took in the first round as well. So I don't know how that's going to work out.
Yeah, I think he was like top of the second. Yeah, pretty close to the first.
Especially since they don't really have a solid quarterback.
There's a world where are you that much of a Georgia fan where you're considering Bowers over your boy Pitts?
Yeah. And it's not
Oh
a
my
Georgia
God.
thing. It's not a Georgia thing. It's just that you look at what Brock Bowers did for Georgia. Like he did
Yeah,
everything. He took end rounds. He was beating safeties and linebackers deep. Like it wasn't just like little shit. Like no, he was. I think Brock Bowers more athletic than Kyle Pitts.
I think he led the SEC in receiving his
He
freshman year.
did. He so I'm Pitts is again. It's still Kirk Cousins and I know him and Kirk Cousins and TJ Hawkinson. They had nice chemistry together. So
What do you think about Tony Pollard?
what? I'd rather play in rocks. I'm not picking no damn Tony. Tony Pollard can sit there. I think
Raheem Mostert scored a lot of touchdowns last year.
yeah. I I'm I
Scary Terry, boy, he's a tough call with Jaden Daniels there. Yeah, it does seem like tight end might be the best value right now,
it does. It really does seem like the best value. So
considering you have your quarterback.
right.
Yeah, boy, that's tough.
We're gonna have
Oh, and he goes with Pitts. I
we're
love
gonna
it.
have to
Yes, there we
for
go.
for
Finally, the
now.
hometown
I
choice.
had to. I had to.
Oh, and is that Bowers off the board? Yeah, Bowers goes off the board at 7. So there you go. I mean, good call on your part. If you hadn't taken him, clearly you wouldn't have. He might have gone there. So tight end, good choice there for you, Nate.
So I was look I was thinking about this guy for a while, but I don't know if I want him. 'Cause
So after Nate took
He's
Kyle
still in
Pitts,
Tennessee.
we had Richardson go, Scary Terry, Joe Burrow, and then to round out the 6th, Jaden Reed, then Chris Godwin, Brock Bowers, Hollywood Brown, Najee Harris, and then we have Nate up again after Nate has Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, Derrick Henry, CJ Stroud, DeAndre Swift, and Kyle Pitts on his team. Currently in the 7th round now.
He's a good damn.
Some
This is a
interesting names available. Clearly not
this is a
looking at
tough
Evan
one.
Ingram, but the rookie 4.22 sensation in Kansas City right now staring you in the face. And
So drops a
Xavier
lot.
Worthy. Sir drops a lot. Oh man.
Uh
Calvin Ridley, your old boy from Atlanta. You have Tony Pollard still sitting there, probably the last best. I mean, there's quite a drop off after him and Raheem. There's question marks. Seems like the
I
spot
got
to.
to.
Oh, what do we got to? And he goes with DeAndre Hopkins, folks. Old reliable there in Tennessee.
I had to. It made sense. It made a lot of sense there.
What are you thinking there? I mean, Will Levis. I mean, you have to have some amount of confidence in him,
I think this is probably gonna be a better year for him. Seeing
and to
that
take him over Calvin Ridley, who also
Calvin
went in the
Ridley,
7th.
but Calvin really he kind of fell off last year. Like he was good for a while. He was sporadic, and like there were some weeks he was great, and then there's other weeks where he fucking disappeared and you didn't know where he was at. So I like DeAndre Hopkins. He's reliable, and he being in that flex position, I'm good with that.
So here I am. I still have no quarterback. I still have no tight end, and boy, I
You're
missed out
looking
on
real
some
thin
good
on
ones.
you're looking thin on quarterbacks, my boy.
Dak Prescott and Kyler Murray gone, Richardson gone, Jordan Love gone. So I mean, any
Yeah,
hope
you
for a dual threat quarterback right now lies
Caleb,
with
Caleb
Caleb
Williams.
or Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I like Jay. I'm gonna
Somewhere
be
down here.
honest. I like Jaden Daniels' situation better than Caleb Williams' situation.
Oh, he's somewhere down here.
Who? Two. There's two.
Uh,
Two was there. Brock Purdy
Jaden.
still available.
There he is. Okay. Whew. I was gonna say. Finally lose that. So yeah. Yeah, Purdy. Yeah, but I don't. Purdy is a great number 2. Like in a 2 QB league, I love Purdy as my 2BQ or QB2. But right now,
But
like we talked about, this right here is a big teardrop for me. I have hope Devontae Williams is good, I
I don't
want
have
him to
any
be
hope.
good next season.
I don't have hope for that guy. That guy screwed me last year. He screwed me. He's the reason I didn't make the playoffs. So
Yeah.
he can sit there.
But right now, even though they took Jalen Wright, I think right now is a good spot to get the last really good running back off the board here, and a guy
Ooh.
who could score a lot of
31-year-old?
touchdowns.
The 31
31
year
years
old
old,
Raheem.
for sure. But again, I mean, he won you weeks last year, just like Jalen Waddle won you weeks. You get someone from the Dolphins, and they could win you a week. So I'm going to take Raheem Mostert right there, and then as you can see, quite a teardrop here for running back. So I'll let that slide for a little bit. How about Austin Eckler?
No, I
Who?
mean
No,
Austin
I'm just
Eckler
saying, going into
paired
the
up with
season
Jay
last year,
Daniels,
he was like a top 10 pick.
but
Just to see
I
where
think
he is last year from this year is crazy.
paired with Cliff Kingsbury and Jay Daniels, he might have a pretty solid season.
Yep, yep. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and take this hopeful rookie sensation, the 4-2-2. It never
Oh my
works.
God, it
You know,
never works at
John
all.
Ross definitely feels like John Ross to me. But Patrick Mahomes has to throw touchdowns to someone, damn it. And Rashee Rice, between the 5-car pileup and the nightclub incident, he might miss a few games. Hollywood Brown has been inconsistent and injured. Travis Kelsey has to be nearing the last year of his career. So to take Xavier Worthy right here, with the receivers I already have on my team and Smith, Waddle, and London, just feels like the right pick. And get a receiver finally in my bench. Still no tight end, still no quarterback,
I
but
gotta take
we'll see how it plays out.
now that I got my starting lineup set up. I gotta take this guy because he's quickly become one of my favorite players, and he's hilarious as shit. Um, I believe this guy's gonna quickly become what the fuck his name? The quarterback in Buffalo. I can't
Oh,
think of his
Josh
name.
Allen,
Josh Allen. He's gonna quickly become Josh Allen's favorite person to throw to.
did you just take my boy? You son of a bitch! Oh
Hey, listen to me.
no!
Keon Coleman
Ah,
is probably one of the funnier human beings that I have seen in a while. This kid is fucking hilarious.
damn.
His they should make sure he's wired at all times throughout the season.
So Nate goes
He's
ahead and takes. I mean, talk about a guy who's in a great landing spot. His competition is like
none of
Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir. Like Keon Coleman is going to get plenty of opportunities to be the number one
he
receiver for this
he's
team.
gonna be that guy. He's gonna be
Yeah,
no. There's no chance. There's no shot he doesn't.
and they traded up, in the back half of the first round to get him, or the second
Hmm.
round, I believe.
And all the
They traded up to
criticism
get
they
him,
got
whether it
for
was the back
doing,
half of the first or the second. But
all the criticism they should have. No, why he fell to him in the second round? Why not take him? Why not add the picks? Because they need it. But he is quickly becoming one of my favorite people.
and I think honestly, because let's be honest, like Stephon Diggs at this point in his career, DeAndre Hopkins, they're kind of
Yeah,
lacking explosiveness. So to add two upside picks, and Watson, who's been banged up, but when he's played, has been a
he's been
touchdown
great.
guy,
Yeah.
and you don't know what Coleman's going to be yet. So I think that's kind of a good balance here. And after you took Coleman, we had Singletary, Goddard, Curtis Samuel, the other Buffalo receiver, Jalen Warren, Adonai
That's
Mitchell, and Jameson Williams to round out. Well, I'm going to round
yeah.
out the
So
ninth here. Looking at my quarterbacks, best available are Tua, Goff, Jaden Daniels.
oh,
Running backs,
you still got a pretty decent group of quarterbacks to go to.
yeah, yeah. There's some things to like. Dayton, obviously the dual threat, and then you could
I wouldn't
balance that
pick
with some of these
I
guys
wouldn't pick
later.
Justin Herbert though, because he gonna be throwing to mailmen. I wouldn't.
Um, and then tight ends. I think there's a tier break here
That's a
as
big
far as
ass tier break.
explosiveness. So I'm gonna go
Yeah.
ahead and take T.J. Hawkinson, even though there's no Kirk Cousins this year. J.J. McCarthy to me is kind of like
It,
a
I
Kirk Cousins
that
Jr.
that was a terrible pick. I'm gonna be honest with you. Minnesota should have picked anybody else. I'd have went with the guy. I'd have went with Joe Milton. I'd have went with the guy. I'd have went anybody else. Fucking JJ McCarthy. Are you serious?
Hey,
I was like, y'all like losing. They, he was carried by a run, a good defense, which Minnesota does not have, and a good run game, which Minnesota doesn't have. He's gonna have to throw the ball, and we all see what happens when he throws the ball.
yeah. So whether it's him or Sam Darnold, who not great options.
Neither one of them's a great option, man.
Either one of them, if they can't push the ball down the field to Justin Jefferson or Jordan
Just,
Addison, they will at
just
least have to dump it off to T.J. Hawkinson. So that's what I'm hoping for here.
Justin Jefferson's gonna have a down. That's one of the reasons why. That's why I'm happy he wasn't available because I couldn't see me picking Justin Jefferson with the quarterback situation.
So now that I have the tight end locked up, I'm definitely considering quarterback. And I think I can still, I like these names. I think there's some guys I can get later on who can really still help me. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to go ahead and take one of the top, the top running back that was taken in this past draft in April. I'm going to take Jonathan Brooks off the board here in Carolina. Boy, what a nightmare last year for Miles Sanders and all the things they thought he could be. But
Mm,
hopefully, with Dave Canales coming in here from Tampa Bay and what he had in Rashad White last year, Rashad Brooks
mm,
can be fully healthy from his injury, or Jonathan Brooks, I mean, Jesus, and be that Rashad White type player and be healed up and be not only an effective runner for the Panthers, but also a pass catcher as well. So now we have
I'm a,
Nate, who's taken two
yeah,
explosive receivers, three receivers in a row here,
I'm gonna
and
do something.
two young guys.
I'm gonna do something because I got to be the first one to take one.
Oh, oh, Nate! Explain yourself. This is what I love about a league is you just never know who's gonna do what.
I had to because I had kicking problems last year.
So you're the
I had
type of
problem.
guy.
I had problems with kickers last year. Okay, I had a lot of problems with kickers
You're
last
the
year.
type of guy who will take a kicker here.
I Why not? Listen, I got like you said, I got my start lineup. I got my backup receivers right at the moment.
Yep.
And if either starter goes down, I got two good backups.
In
I
your
still
defense,
I still got to round off. I still got to round off the offense.
after you
And
took him, I mean, it was Cole Kmet, two. I mean,
yeah,
Gus Edwards might have been a good pick. Gus Edwards will be the lead running back for the Chargers, and that's something. But you don't
that's not
know.
saying much.
You know what Gus Edwards is. He's a touchdown scorer, and that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but it's
So in a
still not saying
PPR, he's
much.
not helping you a whole lot. So I get that, but in your defense, I mean, a third wide receiver, a third string running back, or a second string running back. I mean, some quarterbacks you're not excited about. So Justin Tucker wasn't the worst pick here, but
I'm
boy, I
not,
hate a kicker this early.
but it's just a kicker though. But I think I gotta go. I think
Boy,
he's
Gus
gonna do.
Edwards.
I think he's gonna be good in Carolina. I just don't fucking trust that offensive line for Bryce Young.
Oh, what are you thinking here?
Xavier Leggett.
Oh, Nate digging a little deep here, and Xavier Legette's
I just,
down.
I just don't trust that offensive line. I watched
Mike
Carolina
Tyson.
games last year,
There he is.
and I saw how Bryce Bryce Young was getting molested. Like,
I think Legette's a really good pick here, actually. If you're looking at guys like Jacoby Myers, Mike Williams, Josh Downs, Gabe Davis, I mean, we know what these guys are.
I d-
And
tough
Legette could be
it's a tough pick because I also see
something more.
Jerry Judy down there,
Yeah,
the new Cleveland Brown receiver,
the
and
new, yep.
I think he's gonna help Amari. I think he's gonna help Amari Cooper out a lot, along with David Njoku. I think he's gonna be a big part of the offense. The, this trouble I have again is that paper mache offensive line that Bryce Young has to stand behind.
But you
That's
also don't like Bo Nix, or excuse me, sorry, I'm thinking the wrong team. Never mind, Jerry Judy.
no, you
He's
talking
getting
about
passes from
the
Deshaun
Broncos.
Watson. Yes,
Ah,
better make this pick.
I'm taking.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
that's
it.
good.
I love it.
I
Go
I,
with
I
what
went.
you know.
I got to because, but I'm
It's
nervous.
potential.
It is
It's
it's big
potential.
potential.
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully they re-signed they signed some new guys. They brought some guys in for Bryce, but uh, Bryce
He
got
has a
molested last year.
he
Let's
has an
be honest.
opportunity that Jerry Judy does not have. Jerry Judy, as long as Amari Cooper is a Brown, will not
Hmm.
be the number one.
No, no.
Leggett could
He
definitely
has a
be the
lot.
number one.
Who
Even
do
though
who
Thielen had a good season last year.
Yeah, Thielen's old.
Right.
He's not, and they don't really have like explosive guys. So
Right.
he's gonna be that guy.
They traded for Deontay Johnson, who I do like,
Yeah,
but if Leggett, Leggett's a bigger body. He could be a red zone guy that Deontay Johnson has not really been a touchdown scorer.
yeah, but we just gotta hope that paper mache holds up because that poor guy. Man, I felt bad for Bryce Young last year, and just to hear the criticism that he was getting, I'm like, that's not fair. Like you can't. How? If I hike the ball and I got a man in my face already that don't belong to my team, how is that? How is it my fault? What am I supposed to do?
So here I am. I've got a few bench spots filled up with Connor Mostert. A young and old Connor Mostert, Worthy Brooks. So I like what I have going on there. I've got my tight end. I'm looking at quarterbacks here. It's a man's world. We've got Aaron Rodgers,
Have
we've
you
got
not
Matt
taken a
Stafford, we've
quarterback
got
yet?
JJ McCarthy. No. This is
You
what you
better.
get when you wait until the where are we at?
You
The
got
12th
ass.
round.
You
The
have
end of the
ass.
11th.
You have
So folks,
nothing.
just so you know, if you wait till the 11th round, you will be choosing from these guys.
There's Taysom Hill still there.
Taysom Hill is available, just so we know. I could take Taysom Hill.
Oh
But
my
you know what I'm gonna
god.
do here?
Ooh, you picking from the barrel.
The bottom of the barrel. Boy,
I
it's
like
go with
Bo
what you
Nix.
know. And Roger, who do you like?
I like Bo Nix in Denver.
Okay,
I
I
do.
was
I
hoping
really.
for a little bit of running. I'm not gonna get it from any of these guys.
Daniel Jones is still there.
Jesus. Oh man, I can get Sam Darnold
This
too.
bro, that's nuts. You. Why would you wait this long?
I'm gonna go ahead and take Stafford. You throw into Cooper Cup, Puka Nakua.
If he's healthy, he can stay healthy. Shit.
Um,
That's why I typically like to draft my quarterbacks usually fourth or fifth round because I know at that point, like I know a couple quarterbacks has probably already gone off the board, but I know a lot of people are not ready to pick them just yet.
and the thing about Stafford is, he's gonna throw for a ton of yards,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he has to throw 35 to 40 touchdowns for it to be like a difference maker as a pocket passer. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So as long as Cup is healthy, as long as Nakua is healthy, you feel good about it.
Who is this tight end? Who is the tight end out there?
Higby is
Uh,
still
he's
Higby.
yeah, I think Tyler. I think he's still out there. I don't see his name on the
Do I want to take Watson as my two, just in case he's got something left? What do you think about that? Is Deshaun Watson
Deshaun
cooked?
Watson.
Is he cooked?
I This is his proof. This is the prove it year. Like you have a choice. You you got to play. You got to play this year. You got to play well, and you got to play extraordinary this year, or they gonna cut him.
Yeah.
They gonna cut ties with his ass, and ain't nobody gonna pick him up. He has to play well this year. There's no way, no ifs, ands, or buts. Oh,
Oh,
that bum ass still available? Blake Bortles.
wow. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go ahead and do something that. Well, you know what? Never mind. I might see if he falls. Look, I'm trying to take shots here. You want to take shots late in the draft and see what kind of rookie wide receivers are available. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a guy. If Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk gets traded, the first round pick of where's areas Ricky Pearsall becomes very interesting. So I'm going to put Ricky Pearsall on my team. Nate, how do you feel about that?
I have no words. I have no words.
Listen, they took him in the first round. They got plans for him, and I've been hearing.
It's a hell of a pick, but
at this point,
at this point, it's this point in the draft, and here's the problem that I'm having right now is I need a running back.
Yes. And you are SOL when it comes to that. You should have taken Gus Edwards, I guess. But you know who you could take? A starting running back.
Not Zeke.
You could take a starting running back from Dallas. This is where a guy like him is going to help you.
Nah, I would rather not take Zeke.
Add Zeke to this team, and you got a championship winner. Derrick Henry, DeAndre Swift, and Ezekiel Elliott. Who is she going to add? He's the only guy left who can truly help your team from the running back spot.
There is one guy.
There's no guy.
There's one guy.
None of these guys can help you.
And depending on how well his rehab went.
Oh, you're not going to do it. Don't do it.
There's one guy.
Just because you missed out on the other guy last round doesn't mean you need to take this guy. Just because you missed out on the Gus bust doesn't mean you have to take one-legged J.K. Dobbins.
You got to. Why not? He's a premier starting running back. Okay, he's
the only way this pick is worth it is if Zeke falls back to you, and you can take both of them. Otherwise, I hate this pick for you.
I hate this pick too. I don't have anything. It's either that or Chuba Hubbard.
Okay, I want to see you take him, and then let's see who falls back to you.
I think I might do this though. I think I'm gonna go with the curveball though, because I like his production when he gets playing time.
And for those of you, listening at home, after I took my combination of Ricky Pearsall and Matthew Stafford, which was just a league winner right there. Blake Corum, Tyler Bass went off the board. Freiermuth, Gabe Davis. That's all in 12th round, by the way. Mike Williams, Josh Downs, and then Nate, for some reason, rather than take Zeke, both these guys still available, which is crazy to me. Zeke and your boy, who you were talking about, still available. Dobbins. Rather than take either of them, Nate goes ahead and takes Tyler Algier, just in case Bijan Robinson gets hurt. And then he takes Zeke. He doesn't even take his guy. He doesn't even take Dobbins. He goes ahead. Oh, I love it, Nate. What were you feeling there? Were you just worried? You wanted the security?
It wasn't more of a worry. It was more of like, I was like, I need a tight end, but I know how running backs got hurt last year, and I would fucking hate to not have a second backup. So
all right, so just to recap Nate's team real quick, we have at the quarterback position C.J. Stroud. At the tight end, we have Kyle Pitts. At running back, Derrick Henry, and DeAndre Swift. Wide receiver, he went strong here. Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Watson, Keon Coleman, Xavier Legette, I think he pronounces it. And then to fill out the bench running backs, we have Tyler Algier and Ezekiel Elliott.
Look, if you look at the board, me picking Justin Tucker 2 rounds ahead. Look at all the kickers that went off. So it wasn't that it was just 2 rounds too early.
You're a trendsetter. Very interesting board. Very interesting board. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I didn't like the Tucker pick at the time.
But now
You
you look
still
at it,
you in the 13th round. I mean, people are going to sleep on Zeke, but he will be fine. This Dallas Cowboys offense is going to move the ball. They're going to get in the red zone plenty with Dak and
yeah,
CD.
they are.
And
They are.
Zeke, he will give you the same as what Gus Edwards gave you 3 rounds earlier. I have no doubt in my mind that Zeke Elliott will give you as much value as Gus Edwards, and that's a 3-round difference. Now, where we both missed out, and I keep missing out and not drafting, is Zach Moss. Zach Moss in the 9th round is a great value. Starting running back, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Zach Moss was good last year for the Colts in limited time. He's going to be a great pick. So now here we are. We're up on my turn, and I've got my quarterback, I got my tight end, looking to stack some bench here.
Who the hell? Oh, you got who the hell is your quarterback?
Stafford.
Oh, that's right. You went Stafford. That's right.
Yeah, man. All reliable. I could still take Rodgers if I wanted to. Let's see. Is anybody going to give me an edge at kicker? Probably not. Is there an edge at defense right now? No. So who's the best bench player available to me right now? You know who I really like as I'm perusing. We don't know who the number one's going to be in LA for the Chargers right now. It definitely could be McConkey, who had a weird production profile at Georgia, and it could be Johnston. Oh, jeez, I think I just got. Oh, I took Rashid Shaheed. Never mind. Auto draft.
What the hell?
I just got auto
That's a
drafted Rashid Shaheed. That's fine. You know what? I
McConkey.
like Rashid Shaheed.
He's gonna be more of a slot guy. I don't think he's gonna be able to play that outside like he did in Georgia. He's gonna be that slot guy. He's gonna be that gadget guy because they're gonna figure out a way to use him. But we all know with Jim Harbaugh, with John, was it John or Jim? Which one of them is over there? Is it
At
Jim?
LA?
Yeah, is it just
Yeah,
Jim?
it's Jim. Yeah, Jim.
All he's gonna do is run the ball.
Yeah. All right. Well, now that I took Shaheed, who is, he is the
It's
number
not.
2. He is the number 2 in New Orleans. They didn't
Yeah,
draft another. I mean, they drafted Bub Means in the 4th, but
but they
Michael
still got
Thomas is
Derek Carr.
true. But I probably wouldn't have taken him there. I would have gone with Josh Palmer there, to be honest. Because I think he still has a chance of being the one for LA. And Justin Herbert's obviously a very good quarterback. So I would have gone Josh Palmer. But Rashid Shaheed, big play guy last year. That's fine. And since I have the wide receiver, I would like to round out my bench with a running back, since my only other running back is Jonathan Brooks and Connor. And I'm going to take, boy, you talked about the timeshare in New Orleans. Do I want to take Kendre Miller?
Kendrick, that's they go. He split. I don't think he scored a lot of touchdowns last year though.
I'm going to take a shot here. And this guy is like a 6th-round pick out of Troy. But Kimani
Ooh.
Vidal, I'm banking on J.K. Dobbins still being hurt and Gus Edwards being Gus Edwards. And if Kimani Vidal is any good, you got something there in LA, and then they're going to run the ball a lot.
I was
So
gonna
after I
wait.
take Vidal, there's Kendre Miller, Brandon Cooks, Rico Dowdle, Antonio Gibson, Jahan Dotson, and then Aaron Rodgers.
I was going to wait to do this, but because I missed out on them last year, and they had a really, 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 really good season last year.
Who'd you miss out on? Oh, okay. So Nate once again surprises me. Goes defense right after he takes the Cowboys, and you took them. I mean, this is a defense that gets a lot of takeaways, a lot of touchdowns. Micah
A lot of
Parsons,
sacks.
Trayvon
Yeah,
Diggs. Yeah.
and I missed out on them last year, and I was like, yeah. Um,
So
and
you didn't
then
feel like McCarthy was worth it as your backup.
fuck no. Listen, listen to me. Drake May is a better quarterback than JJ McCarthy. Okay.
Yep.
Bo Nix is a better quarterback than JJ McCarthy. Okay.
Spencer Rattler.
Spencer Rattler is a better quarterback than JJ McCarthy. Okay. Joe Milton is a better quarterback than JJ
Oh,
McCarthy. Okay.
Joe
Okay. The guy who bags the groceries at Walmart is a better quarterback than JJ McCarthy. Okay. Okay.
Mills.
Because that guy sucks. But
So you have your kicker, you have your defense. You're looking to round out your bench.
I'm gonna go with
You've got Pittsburgh's number one picker and or second round pick and Roman Wilson's available.
I
Your
like
boy
I
Mooney.
like I like this guy, but I like both these guys.
Who's these guys?
But
Who you thinking of here?
I'm gonna go with the one that's in a better situation, coach wise, and I'm gonna take Mr. Nix.
Oh, Nate, you dirty dog. Okay,
He
so he goes
he
ahead and takes his QB2 here.
yeah, he's in a better quarter. He's in a better situation with Sean Payton. That situation is better than Drake May's situation. So so
So
I
you
had
think he could help you this year as your QB2? You know, if something happens to Stroud, you feel pretty good
yeah
about him in
I
Denver with the weapons that
I
he
do.
has.
And
Cortland Sutton,
I
Troy
feel like
Franklin.
I feel like Sean Payton got what he wanted. He got his quarterback. I don't think he really wanted. He came into Russell Wilson. I don't think he wanted him, but he came into the situation. They already had it. But I think he got his guy, and I think you're not gonna take this guy in the first round, right? And not use him. So I think he's gonna be I think he's gonna be pretty. I think he's gonna be good. He's not gonna be great, but he's gonna be good.
So just a quick recap. Nate's team right now consists of CJ Stroud at quarterback, Kyle Pitts at tight end, Derrick Henry, DeAndre Swift at running back, Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs at wide receiver. In the flex, we have DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Watson, Keon Coleman, Xavier Leggett, Tyler Algier, Ezekiel Elliott, Bo Nix is the QB2, Dallas Cowboys, and defense, and Justin Tucker is the kicker. I believe it's time for me to get a defense or a kicker. And I'm going to go ahead and take a defense here. And I'm going to go ahead and take the Pittsburgh Steelers because I like. I should have gone with the Eagles, you know what? But I went with the. Should have gone with my damn Eagles, but I went with the Steelers because of T.J. Watt. Boy, when he's on, he tears it up. He gets the sacks, strip sacks, interceptions, takes them for touchdowns. Minka Fitzpatrick at safety gets a lot of play as far as interceptions. And when he gets the ball, he can take it back. And you know they've made some interesting moves as far as who they've added on the inside at middle linebacker. So just gonna go ahead and take them. Obviously, as far as guys they play, you know, Joe Burrow, we'll see if he's fully. And that's what you have to take into account too. Is I think when you're picking a defense, really try to consider who's in their division. You
Yep.
know, like a while ago when the Patriots were awesome and it was advantageous to have the Patriots defense, I
It
believe
was
you know
nobody.
that they had two rookies in their division, and Zach Wilson and Tua. So it's just nice to play that, you know that they're going to play these teams twice a year, and they could pick on a young quarterback like that when you're taking them. So that's where I got the Pittsburgh defense. You know, you got Deshaun Watson, where he's at in his career. But anyway, as I trail off, what kicker do I want here? I want Jake Moody because he's on an offense that moves the ball a lot and scores a lot of points. And even though Kaimi, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna take Fairbairn.
Amy
Because
Fairbairn.
I'm gonna take Fairbairn because he's also on a team that moves the ball a lot. And the difference between them is Fairbairn is in a dome. And if I could have two kickers who are both on teams that move the ball a lot, one's in a dome, one's not, give me the guy that's in a dome and the weather's controlled. Then to
So that's
round it out, you took Darren Waller. Interesting choice.
I had to because I don't have I needed a backup tight end. It was
You might
very
as well
interesting
take the
because
guy who retired.
He
He could
has
come out of retirement.
he thought about retiring. He isn't retired yet.
Uh-huh.
He's thinking about it.
Oh, okay.
He have another bad. They got to play with Daniel Jones again. He might retire.
So how do you feel about your team?
If I was going into the season with this team, I'd be okay. I'd be good with this team. Um, the only thing I would have done differently is I probably would have went running back probably when I picked probably after my Hopkins pick.
Okay. So you went this way. You should have
Yeah.
picked. I told you should have taken Pollard.
The damn not taking no
Told
goddamn
you.
Tony Pollard. No. I think that's probably the only thing I would have done differently because Zeke, he, he's where he's at. Tyler Algiers where he's at. I think, but him and Bijan work well together. Like
So
they're that 1-2 punch.
yeah. So when you
So
went with Hopkins, you had running back options of Pollard, Zamir. I grabbed Raheem Mostert,
yeah, Chubb was available.
and then down to Chubb.
Jameer White, Eckler. There was a
So
lot of options.
which of those guys would you have taken?
Nick Chubb, if I'd have known he was there. I
You would have
forgot
taken
I forgot
Chubb.
about Chubb, but I Chubb would because he's the starter. He's the guy. Once he's cleared, Chubb is the guy in Cleveland. Um, I'd have went him because he'd have been a better option, especially he's a starter. Like if I have an issue with you know one of 'em with DeAndre Swift or Derrick Henry, plug him right in and you'd be fine. But now I'm looking at plugging in Tyler Algier and fucking Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah,
At this
when you
point,
need
I
to
would have to
flex.
trade. I would I would have to trade somebody.
I think this year, look,
It's gonna be running back by committee. You know that, right?
no, I don't.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be. I think Zeke's gonna get at least a 60% share.
because probably because he knows offense, but I think it's gonna be running back by committee.
He's he's a good flex play because he's gonna get you. I think he's good for a touchdown a week. In this offense, he's good for a touchdown a week. So that's 6 points right there. And then from your flex, you know, that's great. That's great.
You know who's still available? That I think is gonna be. I think he's gonna be a goddamn star. Can we pull up the list again?
Ah, shit. Not sure. Doesn't look like it. Who'd you have?
Brendan Rice.
Oh, okay.
Brendan Rice is gonna Brendan he's with the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
I think he's with the Chargers. Yeah. He's him and he's gonna be our number one guy day one. There's no way that kid's not gonna be number one day one.
You know who I actually really like is the other guy they brought in from Penn State, Cornelius Johnson.
Mm. But I have a feeling that
Or Michigan, my bad.
he's gonna be their number one guy because Quentin Johnson is out of there. If he don't learn to catch the fucking football, he's out of there. It's just that simple. If he don't learn to catch the goddamn football, as big as you are, and you can't catch the football, you gonna be bagging groceries, my boy.
He's
That's
a huge like.
liability.
Let's see, when did he go?
Ooh, Quentin Johnson?
Yeah.
He's still on.
So Lad
He
McConkey
Lad
went in
McConkey
the
got
eighth.
drafted before he did. Quentin Johnson is not even on the board.
So Lad went in the eighth, and he went in the 13th round.
Oh, there he is.
It's the same team, ironically.
And that's the computer. The computer's like, yeah, this motherfucker's terrible.
So that's interesting. You know, in the 13th, you're talking about guys like Troy Franklin, and these guys after him. He could be the number one for LA. So that's what's interesting about. You're kind of,
Well, we're gonna
the
see how
13th
training
is
camp
not
and the preseason goes.
right, but as of right now, a 13th round pick is not a big investment, and he could
Nah,
be the number one guy. So that's just something to think about.
True. It could he could have a breakout season this year, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
But
not.
no, most people I think are slotting Lad McConkey right in there as like the Keenan Allen replacement.
I would. I mean, Lad,
And
he's
that's big
good,
shoes to fill.
but he's small. I
Right.
don't. I don't see. He's slot guy. You're going to
Right.
put him in a slot. You're gonna have to because there's no way you put him on the outside. Not in the league. Like
Hey, thank you, SB Fantasy Football. Appreciate it. Shout out to the show. People go check out SB Fantasy Football. Subscribe to the YouTube. Check out the Facebook page and support the Patreon over there at SB Fantasy Football. Strikeout Beer is the main page.
all right. Yeah. Not. Like I said, I like Lad. Lad was he's very he's electric, but not on the outside. You're gonna have to move him around because he's a little guy, and you get a big enough corner on him. Yeah, it's a done deal. You might as well just go ahead and take him out the game.
Well,
So
another
they're gonna use him. They're gonna use him like a Debo Samuel.
so waiting as long as I did was kind of a mistake,
Terrible, fucking awful.
but
Look at
not
the quarterback
really
you got.
because the round that the round that I waited was a good round for quarterbacks like Kirk Cousins, Trevor Lawrence, Herbert, and Daniels. Like those guys could be just fine this season. I just happened to get to like the last of them.
I mean, because you look at it, Josh Allen. That's odd that Josh Allen went first. I thought Patrick Mahomes would have went before Josh Allen, but that's so odd. But Josh Allen went first, and
Even with the
then
receivers he has, so that's interesting.
yeah, and then Jalen Hurts, Lamar went, and then I took Stroud, and then Patrick Mahomes went. That is so odd that Patrick Mahomes went where he did,
And then a full round before,
and then
Richardson and Burrow.
yeah, and then
And
just kind
then
of around.
this is kind of a sweet spot right here for quarterbacks. These guys could really help you this season.
Yeah, I mean, we all know Dak gonna put up numbers. We all know
Yep.
that.
Yep.
But we don't really need him for the postseason. We just need him to win the fantasy league. Whatever happens in the postseason don't have nothing to do with us.
Who else is really interesting? I'm trying to look for a guy who's like just these these Chargers receivers.
Charger receivers are the most interesting shit, to be
Yeah.
honest. Adonai Mitchell going in with the ninth round.
Yeah. And you took,
He
Coleman
was
and Curtis went in the same round, so that's something too. Two
mhm.
Buffalo receivers in the ninth. One of them is going to be the number one. Hmm.
Cortland Sutton was interesting in the 10th round. I guess I could see that that's a Bo Nix thing.
Well, and he went after, before. Oh, so Troy Franklin. Okay, so Franklin's. So Nix's buddy goes in the 13th, and Sutton goes in the 10th. Eckler in the 8th. Boy, there's just at this point in the season, before training camp and before these things get hammered out and wrinkled, it's just such an interesting. This is why it was so good to do this tonight. After the
That
draft.
yeah, that preseason is gonna be it's gonna make it's gonna solidify a lot of these picks
Oh
here.
yeah, yeah. Because we could have done the typical like, winners and losers of the draft and doing our rankings, but this is the best way to get a gauge of like who is where. Just do the mock draft, see who's going where,
I
and then
can't
we can
believe
evaluate it.
Rico Dow went as high as he. Well, that's towards the end. Never mind. He's at the bottom.
I mean, you took the number one back. You took the number one back a round ahead.
Oh man.
That Dallas backfield, man.
And then
It's
then
it's
we had
gonna be easy.
we just had they really waited to the end for the defense. They're just like, yeah, we can get defense later.
Well, and really, I mean, I'm trying to think of it. Before things get started, it's just so hard to know who's like, who's dominating. I mean, yeah, like
I think people got lucky with Dallas last year.
yeah, for sure.
What was it? It was the Seattle game. It was a giant. No, it was the Giants game that they put up. They pretty much put up 40, and then they just kind of dominated the rest of the season. Well, no, they didn't until Trayvon Diggs went down. That's when the shit kind of took a turn because then
Yeah.
they couldn't stop water.
Right. Even with Gilmore there.
Yeah, Gilmore he's need to go ahead and let it go.
And as we see, I mean, you took the defense and still it was like the last round before they started to
Hmm.
go. So clearly there's not like one that stands out above the others right now.
Nah, defense is defense. I mean,
Yeah.
you never. I mean, the Raiders had a 40-point game last year. I mean, the Chiefs did as well. Like it just it's a week to week thing.
Yeah, this
And
this Chargers offense, just because of what they lost at running back and wide receiver. I mean, you could get a starting running back in the 10th with Gus. You could get JK in the 13th. I mean, Quentin Johnson down here in the 13th, Ladd in the 8th. That LA Chargers offense is going to be very interesting fantasy wise.
exactly, it's gonna be extremely. And we're going to
And even
see
Herbert
how it
himself.
plays out.
I think Herbert's going to be good because he's going to run more this year.
He ain't gonna have to take that punishment. He got massacred last year. He was taking a lot of necessary hits, and it wasn't his fault. It's because the coach he had couldn't coach you out of a fucking wet box. So
Well, shit, now, I mean, you got Joe Alt, you got Christian Slater there,
he ain't gonna have. Listen, everything needs to
or
go Joe
Rashawn
Altway.
Slater.
Everything needs to go Joe Altway. Everything, no matter what the fuck it is. Listen to me. You need to make sure he get his work. You use the fuck out of him because that is your protection. Okay, that is a big man, and you need to make sure you use him.
Seemed like a really good pick. He can move pretty well.
Yeah, and a lot of people were like, "Why would you?" Because did you not see him get his ass handed to him last year? That's why. That's what bothers me a lot about some of these analysts. They ask stupid questions. Well, why would you take a lineman that early? Bitch, did you watch me get my ass handed to me last year? Like he broke his finger. He damn near he broke his ribs. Like I got I got molested last year. Okay, that's what happened to me last year. I need protection, and if we can get one early, especially one like that, he gonna be a solid guy for. He gonna be a solid guy for 20 years.
Man, I'm looking over these teams, and a few stick out above the others.
No, I mean I feel like it's a pretty. It was looks like it was a pretty balanced. McCaffrey going number one is just crazy.
Well, I like this. I kind of like what I'm seeing here at Team 10. You get Nakua, and you don't know what you're getting Jonathan Taylor, but he could have a big bounce back with Moss gone. Lamar Jackson always is a good dual threat, and
Malik Neighbors,
Pickens is very
Pickens.
interesting. So, Zamir White is going to be the number one running back in the 7th round. So, yeah, it's just, boy, at this point in May, we have no idea what we're looking at just yet, and it's just fun to
I feel like
it's
he would.
fun to
I
think
don't
about
know.
what could be.
I would be sick if I had this team.
Oh, your
I
team, I
I
mean,
would be sick if I had this team because it do. Because I mean, you look, Malik Neighbors is getting passes from fucking Daniel Jones. So that shit there might be a headache in itself.
yeah,
George Pickens, he's got Russell Wilson
yeah.
and we're gonna see how that plays out. George Kittle is the most inconsistent motherfucker. I swear to God. Oh man, I swear to this. So I traded. So last year I traded. Who did I trade for? So I traded C.J. Stroud last year for Brock Purdy and George Kittle. And George Kittle is the most inconsistent human being. He had one good fucking game. I think he had two good games. He had the one against Dallas, and then he just kind of just fell the fuck off. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
George Kittle is not. George Kittle is a blocking tight end.
Yep.
That's what he is.
Well,
Nah, that's what he is. He's a
he's
blocking tight.
he's a good best ball tight end. Like, what his good games are great games, but when he's not having a good game, you don't even
He's
know he's on the
terrible.
field.
You don't. And
Yeah.
that was that's the thing for me. It's just like Dalton Schultz was. I would have probably picked Dalton Schultz before I picked George Kittle.
Yeah, at least you're getting, like the 4 catches, probably 50 yards. That's your baseline
Hey,
every week.
yeah, and a touchdown, 4 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown. That's a good 10 points there.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just tough. That all goes into it. You know. Do you play best ball? Have you played any best ball leagues?
No,
Oh, you got to try it. It's so much fun. You
this
just
one
draft a
team,
bunch of players, and the best scores from each week are they
and
get
that's
put
it.
in your lineup.
Oh,
Yep.
huh.
Yeah, so it's basically just drafting a bunch of guys who are boom or bust, and you're hoping you get that boom week. That's like the way to go for it. It's a lot of fun, but you don't
Team
you
nine,
don't make any moves throughout the season. Like that's your team all season.
huh? Team nine look kind of nice. Team nine got a nice little lineup with Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Saquon, DK, Zay Flowers, Cooper Cup, Calvin Ridley. He got a pretty nice one.
There's one thing I did. It's kind of stupid, but it's a little. Once you've gotten Jesus, I mean, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10 years into fantasy football, you're looking for all the different little tiny advantages and little nuances you
Hmm.
can get. When it comes to wide receivers, a guy who I think is super, super safe is Michael Pittman. And he just got a big contract from the Colts. He's got, Anthony Richardson going into his second year. But also, what I think is super helpful, the backup quarterback in Indy, Joe Flacco. If shit goes sideways, listen to me. It sounds ridiculous. If shit goes
I'm
sideways,
glad you understand that.
I get it. I get it. But Joe Flacco is a good quarterback. He can at least move the ball down the field. And if shit goes sideways and Richardson gets hurt again, or he's just plain not that good, at least Michael Pittman has a backup who can still get him the ball, which is what you can more than you can say for a lot of situations in the NFL.
True, that's true. Now
So I
you
just
now
think
you understand the Michael Penix pick.
no, I don't.
See,
No,
see, see, you just
no,
proved my point.
no,
See,
I
you
don't
just
because you and
inadvertently proved
I
my point.
watched the national championship game together,
I
and we
did.
said,
Hey,
"Oh
listen
shit,
to me. Everybody understood this. Everybody understood if Texas would have kept running the ball, Texas would have been in the national championship. But Texas decided to say, hey, we could beat these guys through the air. And they learned a very valuable lesson in that situation.
we went into
Okay.
that game." But I said, if Michael Penix has a good game against the Wolverines, he'll be a first round pick. And I was wrong. He was a first round pick, and he had a shit game against the Wolverines, so it
Hey,
didn't even matter.
hey, listen, it is what it
But we
is.
watched that
But
game.
we did. And we both watched it. He didn't play well. But at the end of the day, he's still better than JJ McCarthy.
I do believe that.
I'd have burned that. I'd have flew to Atlanta myself and burned that fucking stadium to the ground myself if they had drafted JJ McCarthy. Because I heard some shit floating around that they were looking. I heard shit floating around and they were talking about they might go JJ McCarthy. Bitch, I wish you would. I wish you would. I'd have flew to Atlanta myself and y'all would have to throw me in jail. Because I'd have burned that fucking stadium down. You bring in
Uh,
JJ McCarthy, bum ass. We played him. You saw how he played it when he played Georgia. You saw the ass when we gave him. You saw how he played when they had to play TCU. I'm not trying to hear that nonsense. No, you better not. No, fuck that. Minnesota gonna learn a valuable lesson. The boy can't throw the ball. His accuracy is awful. His deep ball is even worse. And you talking about throwing to Justin Jefferson? Nah, it's gonna be a long, very long. They're gonna be looking to draft another quarterback next year.
well, for the sake of my Aaron Jones pick, I hope it works out.
I forgot they got. Well, I mean, if Aaron Jones still got a little something in the tank, he might. JJ McCarthy might survive. He might be able to dunk it off, and then let the running back do the rest like he did in college.
People, now that I think about it, like people are giving the Bears all this praise for and you got Moore, you
Nothing.
got Allen, you
Nothing.
bring in
Keenan Allen.
Adunze, and you
Keenan
bring in
Allen
Swift,
couldn't
but
stay fucking healthy. He
well, no.
he.
My point is, it seems like the Vikings are not getting as much credit for having a good cast around JJ McCarthy. Bringing in Aaron Jones, even though they
Yeah.
lost.
I think I think they look at it because you got DeAndre Swift, you have DJ Moore already,
Yep,
Keenan Allen, you got Roma Dunze,
yep.
Cole Kmet's still there. Your offensive line is not that bad. Your
Right.
defense is even better.
No,
So I
yeah,
think I think they're looking at it as that situation is better than JJ's because Justin Jefferson, uh, you got Aaron Jones, and then you got the other guy, Jordan Addison, but
yep.
the defense is god awful.
It, it's questionable. I, but I think it's in the same.
Questionable.
I think it's in the same spot as the Bears. I don't. I truly think
What?
they're in the same spot.
You think? You think that I would pick the Bears defense over the Vikings defense because they played great the last couple games of the season. Like they were top 10 going towards the end of the season,
Yeah,
but the offense just wasn't helping them out. But me personally, I think if Caleb Williams failed, it's because he failed.
right.
Period. You can't say, well, I wasn't in a good situation. He's probably in one of the best situations any first round draft quarterback has gone to. I mean, look what Trevor Lawrence went to.
Which is nice to say because the Bears have fucked up for so
A
long.
lot.
It's nice to see a team that has fucked up for so long make good
He finally,
decisions.
yeah, it, it, it be like that sometimes. But if he fails, it's his fault. It's
Yeah,
just that simple.
yeah.
It's for sure. You can't get anything better than that. Bryce Young, look what Bryce Young went to. Again, Bryce Young got molested a lot last year, and people say it was his fault. That was the fucked up thing. It's like there. What blew my mind a lot last year is they would play the clips of him getting his ass whooped and be like, "Well, he should have did this and he should have did that." Well, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do if I have a defensive lineman in my face before I can get through my progressions? What am I supposed to do here? I
Yeah.
have paper mache protecting me, and it just bothered me a lot that they would play clips of like from start to finish, not like halfway. No, they would show his offensive line getting molested, and then he's just like, "What am I supposed to do? There's only so I can only run so fast." And
And it has to
that's
be well, it has to be such a big shock because, in high school, he probably had a better offensive line than anyone else. At Alabama,
and
he
he
had a
went to
better
college,
offensive
obviously,
line.
yeah.
Yeah,
But then he gets to the league, and Carolina don't know how to protect quarterbacks, and they definitely showed that last year. I'm just like, what the fuck, man? Like, everybody's already like, oh, they need to move on from him. What? It's his first year. B, his offensive line was awful. He had not Keenan. He had Adam Thielen was his primary target. Adam Thielen is what, 31, 32?
he's up
What
there.
what the fuck are you talking about?
And he's
The
like an
running back
undrafted guy to begin with, so
and then the running backs didn't help that much either. They couldn't run the ball because paper mache. What are
yeah.
we talking about here? So they made a couple moves for the offensive lineman. So hopefully he gets a little bit more protection. Hopefully. I pray that kid gets some protection because you're not gonna survive this league like that. Like
Well,
you're not.
and and one of the best moves may be the coach. I mean, I know they've gone through a couple coaches these past few years, which is not a good sign.
It's not
But
at
if
all.
if this Dave Canales guy can turn it around for Geno Smith, and if he can turn it around for Baker Mayfield, which doesn't happen often. Like usually, if the league determines you suck, you stay sucked. Like you don't come back from sucking.
No.
So for Geno Smith to come back and Baker Mayfield to make it says something. So if this guy can do the same thing for Bryce Young, I'm all
I
for it.
hope and but the challenge is gonna be for him is that he won't have the resources he had with Seattle and Tampa. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, you had a solidified number one in Mike Evans forever. Like,
right.
it didn't Gino, even you still had DK over there. What's the other guy's name?
Lockett.
Yeah, you have Lockett, and then the running, and it's like running backs in Seattle always pan out for whatever reason. I don't know
Yeah.
why they just tend to pan the fuck out. And I think that it you just your defense was decent. So hopefully they can fix this situation in Carolina. I don't want them to fix the situation because they're in the division with me, but I would like to see Bryce Young survive.
Yeah, you hate to see
That's the
yeah, a
best thing.
young kid just
Yeah, I would
torn.
like to see him.
Even Zach Wilson, it's just hopefully give the kid some sort of hope.
Where's he at now?
He's
He's
in
in
Denver.
he's in Denver now.
Yeah.
Hey, he might be able to compete for the. He ain't compete for shit. Let's stop. He gonna be a backup. Bo Nix is taking that position. Bo Nix is the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos. That's gonna be the end game.
I always have to try to remember between you and my other friend, I can never remember who thinks Bo Nix is like the worst quarterback ever and who thinks he's
Now
because my other
hold
buddy
on.
thinks he's
Oh no,
absolutely
hold
horrible.
no,
So
hold on. Bo Nix was fucking terrible in Auburn.
oh,
He was
okay, so
fucking
you do
he
think he's
was
terrible.
he was god fucking awful. But when he went to Oregon, he became that guy. I earned, we did whip his ass again when we played Oregon the first year of our first championship. But hey, that's neither here nor there. He played well for Oregon, and I think he's gonna do well in Denver. It's just they got to get more weapons. Well, they got the weapons because Cortland Sutton. What's that other guy that's coming off injury? Because he tore his fucking Achilles last year.
Tim Patrick,
Um, yep, he's coming back, so he'll be back. And then they got a couple other guys there. I think
Marvin Mims.
he's gonna be in a good situation next. And then Sean Payton's gonna protect him. Sean Payton's not gonna ask him to do so much. He's gonna set him up for success.
Yeah.
Cause hey, and then he's a young guy, so he ain't have no choice but to listen. He's not like you got Russell Wilson who can tell you to go fuck yourself. So
Yeah, we all know Russell Wilson's famous for telling people to go fuck themselves.
he does
Old
it in his
Russell,
own
go fuck yourself, Wilson.
he does it in his own way. He's polite
He just
about
wants
it.
his goodies.
Yeah, but I think Bo Nix is going to be in a good situation. Again, this is going to be one. If you fail, it's a little bit your fault.
Yeah.
You got a good coach. You got a good head coach, and I think you'll be fine. So this, I can't wait for the season to start. I'm ready to see some of these guys play. A part of me wants Caleb Williams to fall on his fucking face, but the other half is like, I want to see him succeed. I don't like the kid. I'm gonna be honest
Continue
with
the
you.
tradition of Bears quarterbacks.
Yeah, I don't like. I don't like him. I don't like the what rubbed me the wrong way was the whole the combine situation. Him wanting the Bears to change the rookie that a lot of that shit just rubbed me the wrong way. So if he succeeds, great. But if he falls on his face, I'm gonna be here for it.
At least he'll have plenty of nail polish to fall on his face with. That's
I
a
don't
cheap
know.
shot. I'm sorry, Caleb. That was a cheap shot. You do
I don't
you.
know. We gonna see what it's like. But me personally, I don't know. It's I like Drake May. Drake May was probably my if we could have took anybody, if we couldn't have got Penix, I'd have preferred Drake May. But
Yeah.
obviously the Patriots knew who they wanted and they went with him. So I think I'm gonna be honest, I think the Patriots wanted Jaden Daniels and they were hoping he would fall. But Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury, nah, they wasn't gonna let that guy walk. They wasn't gonna let him drop. Mm-mm.
I hope it's a
So
good pair. I predicted that wrong. I thought it was going to be the other way around,
Dan
but I hope it's a good
Quinn
pairing.
is not a good head coach. He's a great defensive coordinator. I think 2 years from now, Cliff Kingsbury is going to be the head coach of the Washington Commanders
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes
because
sense.
we seen Dan Quinn as a head coach.
Yeah.
We saw it. We saw Dan Quinn in the Super Bowl. We saw it. So I'm not a huge fan of Dan Quinn anymore. I stopped liking him when he screwed us and he left us with this fucking stain that we can't get rid of. You know how you do understand this Super Bowl was in 2017. Of 7 years ago.
People still bring up the score.
I still hear the 28. That is hard. That is annoying. It's been 7 years. And we still hear 28-3, 28-3. March 28th come around this motherfucker. And I hate March 28th. I fucking despise March 28th.
So
And
I
it's
think
his fault.
Sorry, Dad.
It's his fault. It's him and that little fucker out in San Francisco. It's their fault. That's why I'm happy he didn't win another Super Bowl. I hope he never wins a Super Bowl. I hope he chokes every Super Bowl he has for the rest of his goddamn life.
I don't think he ever sleeps. I mean, him and the old Buffalo head coach who've been to 3 Super Bowls and haven't won any of them. I don't think they ever sleep.
If I was in San Francisco, I wouldn't let him sleep at all. You've had 2 opportunities to beat the Chiefs and you choked twice. Nah, you don't get to sleep until you win a Super Bowl. We're gonna be in front of your house every day, making sure you're looking at tape. That, bro, like I said, man, it still leaves a bad taste in our mouth. This is why Falcon fans are the way we are. It's because of the shit we've been through. That's why when people say shit, bro, we've been ass for years. Even when we had Michael Vick, we were ass. We just did it, we get used to that at some point. But when you finally find success and you have a head coach you can't get you to where you need to get to, becomes a problem.
Well, when
Mike
you
Smith,
know,
Dan
sometimes your
Quinn,
weapons are Des White and Brian Finneran, Algie Crumpler. It is what it is.
those are my guys too. But they should have been like, hey, y'all gotta go. It's time to move y'all the fuck up out of here. But yeah, man, I think the worst coach we had was what was his fucking name? Bobby Petrino.
Oh yeah,
He
that was
was the
bad.
worst motherfucking coach.
Yeah, he sucked.
He destroyed our roster and dipped and left us with nothing.
He had like a couple good Arkansas or Louisville years, but those
He
Atlanta years were
came
not
he
good.
came to the Falcons. I think he was there for like a year. Butchered the roster, got rid of a lot of good guys, and left. And that led to the
Sounds
Mike
like
Smith
Chip Kelly.
years. And that led to our Mike Smith years, which was heartache. And then they fired his bitch ass, and then they brought in Mr. Clean, and he didn't do nothing for us. And then you bring in that goofy looking bastard Arthur Smith, and he didn't do nothing. Raheem Morris, listen to me. Your ass is on borrowed time, buddy. Yeah, that whole first black coach shit, that shit didn't sell, sir. You got to bring success to the city, because if you don't, they gon' they gonna lynch your black ass. I can tell you that. 'Cause I was not high on this coach on this pick when they hired him. I was not high on him. I was not. Why? And then come to find out, Robert Kraft, old degenerate ass, called Arthur Smith and be like, "Don't trust Bill Belichick." You motherfucker, you. Are you kidding me? So we missed out on Bill Belichick and we settled. We settled with Raheem Morris.
Well, again, we talked about it at the time. I like what Raheem Morris did with a relatively no-name Rams defense last year that ended up being pretty good. But
That's the defense. I need to know he can coach us to.
hey,
And the
that's why
guys
they paid $180 million to bring in Kirk Cousins. He's supposed to handle the offense for 2 years.
and then the guys he brought in, like the coaching staff. You know what's funny? So the company I work for, we screen applications for apartments. Hugh Jackson is getting an apartment in Atlanta. Sounds like that'd be interesting. Is he coming in to join the coaching staff, or is it just retirement?
Huh.
Like,
Hopefully, just
uh,
retired.
I hope not. I hope he comes out because he was a good coach. We could use the assistance, but I'm
Didn't
just
he have a
trying to
winless
see.
season? Didn't he go 0 and 16 for the
Hey,
Browns?
he didn't have a good team. Okay, that team was terrible. Okay, that was probably
Didn't
the
he not
worst.
win a single game one time?
That was probably the worst roster that was put together in NFL history.
Didn't even when probably teams weren't even trying at the end of the season, he didn't win a game. That
Hey
guy,
man,
yeah, bring him
hey,
in.
hey man, listen, I believe in certain coaches, but
Yeah,
like I said, it's do or die at this point. Like Raheem Morris, he has a lot of pressure on him. Kirk Cousins has a lot of pressure on him. The team in general is gonna have pressure on them to fucking perform because you come in with the whole rah rah shit and all this extra bullshit. It sounds good, but if you can't put that product on the field, it's fucking pointless. Like
hmm
we've heard this, we've been down this road before. I don't like defensive coach. I don't like defensive head coaches. I do not like defensive head coaches because they don't make good head coaches. So
Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick, yeah, they suck. Yeah, who wants them?
again, again, I don't like defensive head coaches, and that's
Bill
just two of them.
Parcells, yeah, who wants those guys?
Yeah, but look what those guys are at now.
Retired in the Hall of Fame.
The league was different then. Okay, it's not the same league this year. It's a offense based league. You can have the defense if you want to, but it's not the same.
I'll
The
give you that.
rules are different now. The rules are fucking. If you take the 2015 Seattle Seahawks, I don't think that defense is as good as it is with these rules that are in place now. Because you were still able to blindside people. You were still able to do all the shit you wanted. Now, yeah, that you couldn't cut that shit out.
So, as far as how the mock draft went at this point in the offseason, a couple things I think were very interesting. You took Stephon Diggs in the second round, and then Nico Collins also went in the second round. So this
I wanted Nico
Houston,
Collins. I wanted Nico, but Stefan. I think Stefan he's gonna be that number one.
yeah. So you got to really check yourself when it comes to these Houston players. Know who you want because
Mm-hmm.
the three receivers, including Tank Dell, are going to go early. So definitely
Yep.
identify who you want.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, there's going to be good value in Mixon because he went a little later. So remember his value.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then I thought I mean, Zach Moss still going in the ninth round as the lead running back for the Bengals is going to be great value. And then really pay attention to training camp and preseason for the Chargers
Mm-hmm.
because one of these guys is going to help you out, whether it's
Somebody is.
McConkey or Palmer or Johnston, or even like you said, Brendan Rice. Cornelius, one of these guys is going to help you out. And then Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. Those are your two options. I mean, I don't think the sixth round running back from Troy and Kimani Vidal, even though I took a shot on him, I don't think he's going to pan out. So unless they make a move to bring someone else in, you have to choose between Gus Edwards and Dobbins, and one of those guys will help you. So the Chargers offense too, another big takeaway. So what do you think, Nate? What caught
I'm
your eye?
I'm thinking I'm thinking because I'm thinking about how Jim Harbaugh builds his teams, and he builds his teams offensive linemen, running backs, and
Yep.
then everybody else falls into place. That's how he builds his team. So Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins are going to be really good picks because they're going to be a run heavy offense.
Yeah.
They're going to be a run heavy offense, and if the run is successful, it's going to become that's when the play action. That's when the receivers are going to get involved. So I wouldn't take those two guys early. Those are like sixth, seventh round if they're still there. The earliest I would probably take them, probably maybe a fifth round, fourth if I'm feeling frisky. But other than that,
Yeah. I mean, Gus went in the 10th at the end of the 10th round.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he went 10th, and J.K. didn't go to shit. Did he even go?
13.
He went 13. So
Yep.
yeah. So they I feel like they're gonna be there late unless somebody decides to say, hey, I'm gonna take a shot on these guys and take them early. I wouldn't. I
And
learned
then
that lesson
really,
last year with J.K. Dobbins.
people are going to laugh at this too, but you got another starting running back in the 13th round in Zeke. I mean, it's not.
It's funny but true.
It's funny but true, and you're going to see the name, and you're going to be tempted to take him early. You're going to be tempted to take him in the ninth or
Nah, hell
the
no.
eighth. Don't do it because Nate just got him in the 13th. So
Yeah, he it's but it's funny to watch a lot of these guys that fell, like Christian Watson, Keon Coleman, like those watching those guys. Cortland Sutton's another one. Brian Robinson's another one for Washington. He fell. Romeo Dobbs fell late. I mean, these are all you know playmakers. Like they were featured heavy into these offenses last year.
I mean, Singletary is going to be the starting running back for the Giants in the ninth round.
Yeah. And
um,
then you gotta look into that, like how pass happy are the Giants gonna be?
right. And then your quarterbacks. I mean, yeah, like we talked about. So
Because I mean, I think
interesting. When we do this again, probably I don't know. I mean, mock drafts
I
are
would
fun. We'll
say
probably
like
do a couple,
I would
but
say like the I would probably say like after the first week of preseason games,
yeah.
like once the first round of once like the first couple preseasons, the Hall of Fame game, and then I say we will reconvene and oh, I need to tighten this and we start this again because this is interesting.
Yeah. But Nate and I mean, I started up a dynasty league this for the first time this year. Nate's in it, so we'll keep you guys posted on what's happening with that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be a lot of
12
fun.
team dynasty league.
A
Can't
lot of
wait.
shit talking. A lot of shit talking.
Oh, for sure. For sure. My friend, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
JJ McCarthy is a terrible pick. I'm gonna keep saying that.
The Vikings should have taken Bo Nix.
They should have took Bo Nix. They should have took Joe Milton. Hell, they should have took the paper boy. They could have taken anybody other than fucking JJ McCarthy.
I do feel like most years he's a second round pick. It's interesting that he went very early.
I would have taken. There was nobody looking at JJ McCarthy. Nobody. I'm
Jalen
sorry.
Hurts was a second round pick.
He could. You could have waited till they. You could have waited till the last day. You could have waited till Saturday to get him. I don't see him. I don't see him jumping up. I don't know why Minnesota took him. I don't know why. I would have taken anybody other than him. I'd have took a shot and be like, you know what, Joe Milton, first round pick. Come on, the man has an arm. His deep ball is beautiful. The accuracy is gonna work, but hey, you know what? I'm not a GM, so
So um, just for kicks, I wanted to see when Ken Dorsey was drafted because he was quarterback for that undefeated Miami Hurricanes team way back when, and he went in the seventh round. So there
exactly.
you go, Ken Dorsey on the same type of situation where he was a good quarterback for a team that went undefeated. They won the championship, plenty of talent around him, and he went in the seventh round. So I guess we'll just see how it plays out with McCarthy. Maybe he's that much more talented than Ken Dorsey was.
Unless he has a massive turnaround, I don't. I think it's gonna be the same thing college wise. But this ain't college because you're not playing Michigan State. You're not playing Iowa. You're not playing some shit D3 school. You're not playing Maryland. Like
Give them their props. They beat Alabama to get where they were at.
they beat the shell that was Alabama.
Jalen Milrow.
That's the shell. That's what they beat, and that's what pissed me off the most. That we lost to them bastards. We lost to that shitty ass Alabama team.
We're gonna have to talk about that because Milrow. I mean, we got to talk about these quarterbacks for like Carson Beck, Shadur Sanders, Milrow.
Next year
It's
is
an
not
interesting
gonna be.
class next year.
It's not gonna be a quarterback heavy class next year, and my opinions. Honestly, I don't see Shador first round. I don't see Carson Beck's not even Carson Beck's a day two guy.
Yeah, I think he's okay.
Yeah, he unless he makes a big leap this year, he's day two, day three guy. Shador, mm, late, very, very late first round, early day two guy.
Yeah.
If if he plays well, because we saw him get the same, he got the same treatment Bryce Young got last year. So it's gonna depend on if he gets protection or not. So that's
Well,
that's
MFers,
that's my opinions right now.
it's been a hell of a night. You got the WNBA, you got the NBA, you got the NHL. We talked about Michael Penix, and we even did the damn fantasy football mock draft. First one of the offseason.
Hmm.
Thank you all so much for joining us. We hit heavy on YouTube tonight. We stayed away from the Facebook live stream. We went on YouTube to try to catch a few more people in the chat. Didn't work, but hey, we'll try again next time. You know, appreciate SP Fantasy Football for showing up. Thank you so
Yes,
much for your
sir.
support. And MFers, keep your eyes peeled. You know how we should. We know how we do it. You know, it's not Tuesdays at 8. It's not Thursdays at 7. It's when we
We'll be
feel like
back
it.
when it's what this is the off season. Off season is really sporadic. Once the
Yes.
season starts, we become more consistent.
You know you can count on us for your Thursday night football streams.
For sure. We'll definitely be there.
Oh yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for Nate. I am Dylan. Appreciate it. And see you next time, MFers. Wow. Great way to Nate. Get us out of here.
Just
Bye everyone.
it's late. It's late. That's what it is.